Good evening, everyone. Come on, guys, quickly confirm me if I am audible and visible enough for you all. Tell me by writing in the chat box if I am visible and audible to you all. Please join this readily. Be quick, guys, be quick. I think YouTube hasn't sent notification to students yet. I request to you who have joined to please share the joining link with others so that they can also join us for this wonderful evening session, which will be a truly game-changing session and it will help you with concepts. Today we are going to cover the entire marathon of the industrial law. We are going to conduct an in-depth review of the entire industrial law. Guys, please confirm in the chat box, and before we start the session, I would like to request everyone to hit the like button now. Hit like. Please hit the like button quickly. Let's all create a positive aura everywhere by hitting the like button. Come on guys, click on like button now. Please click on like button. I request all of you to attend this entire session live until the end because I do not guarantee that you will get this video. You will not get this live video recording on YouTube and I cannot guarantee that to you all. Therefore, please ensure that you will attend the entire session live with me today. Confirm me in the chat box, guys, that today you all will promise me. Quickly write in the chat box. And I want you to attend the entire session from the beginning to the end live with me today. Is that clear? This session will be around 4 to 5 hours long. No matter how long it takes, you all will stay with me. Come on guys, please confirm in the chat box quickly. Please confirm that you will attend the entire session today. And also confirm that you're going to do the live session with me, and trust me guys. This session will be a game changer for any student who is afraid of labor and industrial law. In fact, if you haven't studied anything before or anything related to the industrial law, I can assure you that after the end of this session, you will feel very confident about this particular topic of industrial law. Now come on everyone, hit the like button very quickly. And also, as you can see, these systematically handwritten notes that I have drafted for you, I will be sharing this entire set of notes with you at the end of session. But for that, you have to fill out a Google form that I have given in description box. As soon as you will fill the form, your email address will automatically receive my complete handwritten notes. Therefore, please make sure you don't forget to fill out the Google form which is in description box in order to get the notes. Okay? And I have included everything very clearly in the notes regarding the chapter. If you simply refer to these notes, you will score full marks in the exam in this topic of industrial law. Guys, come on quickly join and hit the like button. Come on quickly hit the like button. And more than 400 students have already joined. In fact, our target for like is 5,500 likes. And surprisingly, I can see that our likes are increasing very fast. Now I can see that more than 500 students have actually joined the live session. And I am so proud of you all for taking out some time to attend this marathon here. Furthermore, trust me, I assure you that every minute of this session will be worthwhile for you. Okay? Quickly hit like. Come on, my target is around 500 likes in 2 minutes. So we have to achieve that target now. We should have 500 likes in 2 minutes. Hit the like button fast. This applies to both existing as well as new syllabus. It applies to both, okay? I will repeat, this is applicable to both. Clear? To both. This is applicable to both existing as well as the new syllabus. So guys, don't worry about the syllabus applicability. It's for both. That is why I have drafted this well-researched and beautifully handwritten notes. You can refer to all the topics of this chapter from these notes. While other students are joining, I will give a shout out to all of you. A very good evening to all of you. Good evening. Prakshi, Sundar, Vidyanshu, Priya and Satish, Vikram, good evening. Sakshi, Sunil, Tina, Sakshi, Namrata, Chetan, Priya, Shubhangi, Preeti, good evening. Shruti, Kunal, Kanishko, Sagar, Pravika, Karthik, Suman, Anjali, Varsh, Pulkit, Tishita, Gudiya, Kajal, Hani Kumari, Prateek, Sumit, Raj, Aryan, Roshni, Shreya, Tushar, Sharma, Kalyani, and then Shivaji, Prerna, Varsha, Nagesh and everyone else whose name I couldn't mention here are connected. You all are with us for this explosive session. Trust me guys, this is a fire-packed session. Trust me, when I say that you won't realize how quickly this session will pass. Just promise me guys that you won't leave till the end of the session. And you will attend the entire session with me till the end. Till the end, okay? Hurry up and give me that promise. Quickly type it in the chat box. Before we begin with the industrial law, I want to mention that I have already covered the Indian Contract Act in detail in my previous sessions. And I also took the marathon for SOGA, which is applicable for you. And the session on the Sales on Goods Act as well as the Indian Contract Act marathon took place last week. Please refer to that marathon because it is very important and vital for your exams. Yes? Sneha, Ritika, Sweetie, Gayatri. Join quickly, join quickly. But I am seeing more than 500 students have joined. But we did not reach target, guys. Please press the like button. I get a positive vibe and I get energy from all of you because you guys inspire me. Hit like. Guys, hit the like button. Yes, good evening, Shweta. Good evening, Vinay. We also have a Telegram channel, MEPL. Please do subscribe to it. The link will be available in the description box. Okay? Please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press bell icon. There is an exclusive channel for you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe to all the channels, guys, because it will only benefit you. Am I clear? Did you download the admit card? Okay, very good. Well done, guys. Okay. Next. Can we start today's amazing session? Don't be nervous as these are professional courses. No scope for nervousness. However, if you will not get nervous, then how will you know that the exams are coming soon? And I know as the exams get closer and closer, that nervous feeling in your heart, that pounding, it gets stronger, right? But it's okay. Don't worry, just relax. That's why I come live in between so that you can ask me the doubts. Okay? Listen to me. Just dump all your worries. Give your best shot at the exam and leave the rest to God. Okay, guys? So just give your best shot and definitely good results will follow you. I am confident that my students will achieve excellent scores, highest marks and rankings, and also they will make me proud. Am I clear? And as you all know that in the MEPL, I don't need to remind you this. Previously, many students have secured good ranks and scores. I know you're a warrior and you're going to prove it with your good marks and rank. Come on, guys, now tell me quickly that can we start the session? Moving ahead and let's start today's amazing session, okay? Guys, let's start with great zeal. But before we move ahead with today's evening session, I have to ask you a question as I need to know this. First, tell me by writing in the chat box, how is your energy level now? Will you attend whole session till end? Let's do a quick MEPLOP. Once more, let's do a quick MEPLOP. And after the session is over, please let me know through comment that how was the session. Please provide valuable feedback in the comment section once the session is over. Okay? Hit the like button, hit like. All of you please hit the like button. Quickly, Kusum, Shubhangi, Shivani, Dhanashri, Ruchika, Shruti, Tejas and Lakshmi, Shubham. I am waiting for the rest of the students to join. Now that most of the students have joined, let's start the session. We are going to start. This will be a real game changer for you. Trust me. If you haven't done industrial law before, this will be an eye-opener. I mean, you will enjoy this without any boredom. You know, it's not necessary to say it now. Quickly join the session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, guys. It is all because of you that there is so much positivity now, right? And trust me, this positivity will definitely get you good marks in the upcoming exams. Now let's begin the session, students. Thank you so much, Kritika. It means a lot to me. And one more thing, as I told you, we still haven't touched the 500 likes target. So please, let's do it. Come on, guys, hit the like button. More than 500 students are watching us live. Hit the like button. Hit the like button and please share the link with other students. Do it now. Because I want you to get benefit from this. I am repeating. Come on, quickly hit the like button. Quickly hit the like button. Very good. We will break all records. So please complete the likes target of 500 likes. Therefore, we are starting today's full jam-packed session. Let's start, guys. Let's start our session now. Okay? Let's hit the bullseye, and today's entire evening is dedicated to Divya Mam and Industrial Law. Okay? Entire evening is dedicated to Divya Mam and Industrial Law. And I don't need anyone else between you and me, not anyone. Is that clear? Let's start the session. Let's start with the session. Okay, guys? I will repeat for the last time that please attend this session now. You will know each and everything. Just attend this session once. Alright? More than 600 students have joined, but guys, keep pressing like button. We have to reach the target. Let's start with the session. Let's start with the jam-packed session of students. I cannot wait now. Let's start this session. Listen to me now, the Factories Act of 1948, and focus here, guys. Let's start with first chapter, the Factories Act 1948. The Factories Act of 1948 was passed with the objective of what? The answer is given. Factories Act, to whom was it passed for? Do you know to whom it was passed? The act was passed in order to promote and regulate the health, safety and welfare of workers working in factories. Since there are many workers in a factory, someone has to be responsible for their health, safety and welfare. Who will be responsible for these? Employers will take care of it, but whether or not they will do this, a separate law should be passed on it. Therefore, this act was passed, and this was passed to ensure that the employers who are employing workers in factory, they are ensuring protection, promotion, health and safety of workers. I mentioned three things. Repeat after me: health, safety and welfare of workers. Why was this act passed? Tell me, guys. In order to protect and promote three things. And what are those three things? Health is number one, safety is second, while the welfare is third. Health, safety, welfare, health, safety, welfare. Health, safety and welfare, health, safety and welfare of workers. Clear? Furthermore, the Factories Act 1948 is applicable pan-India. And this comes in exam, applicability of the act. The act is applicable to all of India, including territory of Jammu and Kashmir. You know that Article 370 was abrogated. So therefore, this act is applicable throughout India. And pay attention here, guys. The Factories Act was passed in the year 1948, but it came into effect on April 1, 1949. Clear? You see that when an act is passed in Parliament, it comes into effect after a year. And when it was implemented, then it was started from 1948. Whereas many a times there were amendments into the Factories Act, especially the major amendment was done when a major tragedy occurred, the Bhopal gas tragedy. You all know about it. An important amendment was made to the Factories Act in 1987. Basically, why was the Factories Act passed? Can you say it again? The Factories Act was passed with the objective of protecting and promoting three aspects of workers' well-being. What are those three things? Health, safety and welfare of the workers. What is it? Health, safety, welfare of the workers. To protect and promote health, safety and welfare of workers, and was held in the case of Ravi Shankar Sharma versus the state of Rajasthan. If you are asked in exam about the objective, quoting this case law will earn you good marks. Clear? Now listen carefully. To whom does this act apply? You just said the act applies to the workers who are working in the factory. But now listen to me very carefully. Can all employees be regarded as workers? No, not all employees are workers. Why? Because only those employees who are working under a contract of service and not under a contract for service are considered workers under the Factories Act 1948. Right? I told you there are two things. One is contract of service and the other is contract for service. If a worker is working under a contract of service, you understand what a contract of service means. And that means I have hired a worker and I am not only supervising the work of the worker, but I am also delegating and explaining every detail of the work to them. Also, I am continuously supervising about how the work will be done and when it will be done. Everything is being supervised by employer. When there is master-servant relationship, that is contract of service. A master-servant relationship is referred to contract of service. Whereas in contract for service, it does not involve master-servant relationship. Then the employee works independently. Clear, guys? Let's say MEPL appointed an auditor. Now could we instruct the auditor to do work in a specific way? Tell me this, you watch MEPL Classes channel all day, right? We upload so many videos on these channels. So tell me something. When I come on live, you see the thumbnails, and who makes the design of the thumbnail? This is made by our designer. But the designer makes it at his home on his premises. I cannot control him. And how the designer should work and when to work, all these are included in the contract for service. Whereas if we talk about those workers who are directly employed by our organization and there is a master-servant relationship, it is called contract of service. So only those employees are covered here who are working under contract of service and not under the contract for service. Who are working under the contract of service. Are we through with this? Now tell me, are all the employees workers? A 3-mark question will be on this, whether all employees are workers or not. There are two things, contract of service and contract for service. Moreover, employees who work under contract of service are called workers under coverage of Factories Act 1948. And whether worker is being paid or is not being paid, that does not matter. Why? Because there is a contract of agency where remuneration or workers' cost is not payable. Therefore, in order to be a worker, it is immaterial whether person is employed for wages or without the wages. Okay? Is this clear? Now pay attention. This entire act has a total of 120 sections. This act has total of 120 sections that are divided into 3 schedules. Hence, 3 schedules are divided into 120 sections. Could you explain the 3 schedule? The first schedule includes the list of hazardous industries. I hope it's clear. Industries involved in hazardous processes. Listen to me again. It has total 120 sections. There are 3 schedules and first schedule of the Factories Act tells about which list? Tell me. It talks about the list of the industries that involve hazardous processes in it. Okay? while the section 2 discusses the permissible limits of chemical substances released in the work environment and in the schedule 3. It's not section but schedule 2. Schedule 3 talks about the list of notifiable diseases. So let's check it. Total of 2 schedules and 120 sections. Schedule 1 deals with hazardous processes, whereas the schedule 2 refers to chemical substances that are released into the environment. What is in schedule 3? Schedule 3 gives list of notifiable diseases. It gives list of notifiable diseases. Tell me guys if you have any doubts or this is clear till this point. You can inform me through chat box. Tell me. Is it completely clear till this point? Now listen carefully and answer what is a factory. This act is applicable on what? Workers are working in factory. What is the definition of a factory? What do we call a factory? Furthermore, there are 3 essential criteria that must be satisfied in order to qualify the definition of a factory. First requirement is there must be premises. These premises must be undertaking the manufacturing process. If there is no manufacturing happening, let's say if you have a place where computers are stored but no manufacturing process is taking place, so can it be called a factory? No, it can't be. Do you understand? Data processing unit is left open where a computer unit is kept. But if there is no manufacturing, can we call it a factory? Tell me. Hence, for the definition of factory, there should be premises and there should be manufacturing process. Next, then they are also discussing the minimum number of workers required at that location. How many workers are needed? Therefore, in that case, you need 2 main headings. One is the minimum number of workers with power and other is without power. Furthermore, if you are working with power, then the number of workers required is less and a minimum of 10 workers are required. Whereas what would be the minimum number of workers required on any day of the preceding 12 months if there is no power? There will be 20 workers. Repeat after me, this is very important. What did I say about the definition of a factory? There should be premises or place or an area. Manufacturing process is must and minimum number of workers with or without power should be present. With power means that you don't have to do manual work. You are using machines that use power. Then number of workers there will be less. It can be done with 10 workers, but if it's without power, more effort and workers will be required. Number of workers is 20 and the worker count is mentioned as being for any day of the preceding 12 months. For example, in 365 days, even if for one day it had 10 or 20 workers, then this act will apply even if the workers are subsequently reduced. Once the act is applied, it will be applicable for life. Okay? Let's say in the preceding 12 months, there were 10 workers in a month. But in the remaining 11 months, only 9 workers were present. Will this be applicable? Yes, it will be. On any day. It's on any day. Let's say if you hired 10 workers at a factory with power or 20 workers at a factory without power in the past 12 months, then this act automatically becomes applicable. Okay? I hope this is clear. These particular. Okay? Industrial establishments are kept outside the purview of the factory. Who all are not covered under this? The railways running shed, mines, mobile unit of the armed forces, hostels, eating places, and the restaurants. Therefore, these 4 things that are not covered in the definition of a factory, what are they? Mines, you know what are mines, right? Like coal mines. Then what else was mentioned? Mobile unit of the armed forces. Tell me one thing, we have a proactive Indian army. They reach at the site of natural calamity. Imagine there is a disaster and they are rescuing people from it. And they are also rebuilding a broken bridge. Construction of bridge is considered manufacturing activity. But can we classify them as workers at that moment? Young men of the Indian Army who are constructing a bridge due to a natural phenomenon. No, we cannot classify them as workers. Therefore, mobile unit of armed forces cannot be considered workers of factory. Hence, this act does not apply to railway running sheds, mines, mobile units of armed forces, hostels, restaurants or eating places. Clear? Railway running sheds, mines, mobile units of armed forces, hostels, eating places or restaurants are not included. I hope this is clear. Now repeat after me guys, repeat after me. Come on quickly. These notes are amazing. If you learn from these notes, you will have clarity. What does factory mean? A place where you manufacture. Premises means place where workers are present. Then only production will begin. I have explained you number of workers with power and the minimum count of workers should be 10, while minimum number of workers without power should be 20. This excludes railways, running sheds, mines, mobile units of armed forces, hostels, hotels, restaurants. I hope this is clear to all. Have you learned definition of factory? Keep writing in the chat box. I want your full participation in the lecture, okay? How will I know if you are enjoying the lecture? You have to keep writing in the chat box. What is a manufacturing process? I just explained you, right? A factory should have a manufacturing process. But what is a manufacturing process? Manufacturing process has been defined in section 2, clause K of the Factories Act 1948. Where is it given? The process is mentioned in 2K, in clause 2K. Now what is the manufacturing process? Listen. Now what is the process of manufacturing? We will say making for manufacturing. Okay? It means to make something. Even if you are altering, repairing or ornamenting. Okay? Repeat after me, any article or to make anything. Even it's altering, repairing, ornamenting any article. Right? Now guys, listen to me. The pumping of oil, sewage, water, power generation, printing, reserving in cold storage or construction of ships and vessels. Now 5 points that I explained starting from P. First was article creation. Whether you make an article, repair it, alter it or do any kind of ornamenting on it. You understand ornamenting, right? For example, a goldsmith who makes gold chains, gold ornaments and gold instruments, joins different articles, welds, repairs and then finally makes a gold chain, a gold instrument or ornament. So all these welding, ornamenting are called manufacturing process. Again, what did I say with the letter P? Printing, which you already know. Then again from P was pumping. Now, what are things that you can do with a pump? As you know, companies like Reliance and ONGC extract oil from the Krishna Godavari basin. This is how they explore for oil, right? Is it yes or no? KG division that is there, like for oil, etc. People do what? Refining. So either pumping oil or sewage or water, all of these are considered manufacturing processes. Clear? Again, tell me what did it say? One was making the article or altering it, repairing or else ornamenting it. And next it said pumping of what? Oil, sewage or water or else power generation. Another thing from P is power generation. Next from P is printing. After that from P is preservation in cold storage. A recent movie, I think its name was Millie, where there was a pizza delivery girl. Remember? In that movie, the girl gets stuck inside a refrigerator. That's a cold storage which is like a big room where you keep perishable goods preserved. Process is preservation. Cold storage is also a manufacturing process or construction of ship or vessel. What? Or the construction of a ship or vessel. Is it clear? Repeat what I just said. Manufacturing process includes making, altering and ornamenting. And packing, pumping of oil, water, power generation. Then printing, preserving, storing any article in cold storage or constructing ship or vessel. Speak along with me, say it with me. 4 P's are printing, then power generation. After that, preservation in cold storage and pumping. And what else is left? Meaning of manufacturing, you know, it is to convert the input into output. Basically, that means making, altering, repairing, ornamenting any article or packing, okay? And one more thing I said, construction of heavy instruments like ships or a vessel. And its construction is called manufacturing process. And this is defined under section 2, clause K of Factories Act 1948, okay? So tell me guys, are we through with this? Is it clear? Many exams have case studies. For this one, write examples of manufacturing process. Write examples of what is included in manufacturing process. Peeling of prawn. Do you know prawns? How many of you have eaten prawns? Write it in the chat box. Have you eaten prawn? So you peel it, right? You peel upper layer. So is that a manufacturing process? Yes. Okay. Have you ever seen a BD being made? What is it made of? Tobacco, right? Commonly, kheni and BD are made from tobacco. Now, these tobacco leaves, they are firstly sun-dried. Why sun-dried? To make BD? Are you understanding now? Is this all manufacturing process? Yes. Moistening tobacco leaves or sun-drying them all are examples of manufacturing processes. Or for example, latex. There's a white-colored substance which is found in tree from which you generate rubber. Converting latex into rubber is also an example of a manufacturing process. Or else like making soap. That is also part of manufacturing process. Stitching old gunny bags. Jute bags are a gunny bag. What are you making from them? Bags. Would we call that as manufacturing process? Yes. This evaporating seawater to create salt. Forming salt crystals. Is this also a manufacturing process? Yes. But what is not a manufacturing process? These pictures, news, training, imparting of knowledge are all these manufacturing processes? No. These are secondary packaging and all of these are not part of manufacturing processes. Repeat what we just discussed. Converting latex into rubber, moistening of tobacco leaves, peeling of prawn, making BD. Okay, have you seen BD? Do you know BD? Many of you don't know what's BD. Do you know what is BD? Okay. It's called BD in Hindi, but I don't know what it is called in English. Okay, you must have seen this. It's a very common sight whenever you visit a factory. With a large number of workers there, you will be able to notice them using something like this one, which has a green cover above it. And like this, they put it here. Okay. And then they do what? They take it out from here. And they'll use a lighter or a matchstick. And then they start smoking. It is not good for your health. So that is BD. Okay. Sophisticated version of BD is cigarette. So what is this making of BD called? So these are the manufacturing processes. Non-manufacturing processes are news, picture, imparting the training, primary packaging, okay, or say finished goods packaging. These are not considered manufacturing processes. Come on guys, tell me, is it clear? So far we have learned the definition of a factory. Now we have learned the definition of manufacturing process and the objective of this act. How many sections, how many schedules, which schedule deals with which point? Is it all clear? Whenever the word young comes up in this chapter, what should you understand from that? So according to them, young means child or adolescent. What does young means? Tell me. Child or adolescent? Let me make it very clear to you. A child is someone who has not yet reached the age of 14 years. But Factories Act defines a child as someone under 15 years of age. If you look at your study material, you will see that they have given 14 years, which is a normal definition of a child. But in this act, it is 15 years, but you follow your institute's mat, which says 14 years. And then 14 to 18 is adolescence. But actually adolescence starts from 15 to 18. Is it clear? And adults, 18 and over. An adult means 18 and over. Are we done with this, guys? Clear? Abhishek is saying, ma'am, please go a bit slow. Sorry, but we have to complete the entire industrial law. So I need to increase speed a bit because you see this is a marathon and not a regular morning walk, right? Please, I have to teach you a bit faster. Okay, clear? Now listen. We have already discussed what is hazardous process. Name itself is very well explanatory. It is creating hazard or injury to the workers working in factory. The list is mentioned in Schedule 1 of the Factories Act. Are we finished with this? Now, who is an occupier? The Factories Act states that there are 3 things to consider, and 3 things are health, welfare, and safety, and the occupier is responsible. It is the duty of the occupier to ensure health, safety, and welfare of workers working in factory. Now, who are these occupiers? Now, definition of an occupier comes up a lot in exam, which is covered under Section 2, Clause N. Okay. Definition of occupier is mentioned in Section 2 of Factories Act 1948. An occupier is a person who has ultimate control over company's affairs. Therefore, the person who controls all the affairs and the management of the company is called occupier. So, if it's a partnership firm, guess who the occupier will be? Now, in a partnership firm, the partners have the control. And in a company, the directors have control. Okay. And if it's not defined anywhere, if it's a factory that is under the control of the central government, then the person who will be appointed by the central government as the in charge of that factory will be deemed to be the occupier. Understood? So tell me, who is an occupier? If the question asks to define occupier, then you will be writing there an occupier is a person who has ultimate control over the management and affairs of the company. For partnership firm, partners are the occupiers, and for company, directors are considered occupiers. If any other factory is under the central government, then the central government, upon appointing any other person in charge, will deem current person in charge to be the occupier. So this person has ultimate control over company's affairs. In case of firm, partners. In company, any of the directors, factory owned by CG, person appointed to manage by CG. Are we through with this? Occupier is fully responsible. So if anything happens to the worker, who will be held liable? The occupier or the manager will be liable. But they have been given exemptions in certain cases. What are those? If the occupier has used full due diligence in conducting the affairs, right? In the execution of this act. Now, if he has tried his level best that the provisions of the act must be implemented successfully and with full care, then, and even after that, if any contravention is taking place without his knowledge or consent, then in that case, his liability will be exempted. Generally, who will be held liable for any contravention or any breach? Occupier. However, the occupier is given exemption if he has exercised his due care and due diligence in the execution, in the application of that. And any contravention which has been committed was without his knowledge and consent. In that case, he will be exempted. Are we done with this? Is this clear? Yes? Clear so far? Come on, tell me guys, yes or no? Is it clear? Yes, tell me. Is this clear? Okay, good. Now story time. It's story time. Focus, yes, focus. Okay. Tell me. Is this done? Very good. Clear. Now let's discuss. Can you tell me what the objective is? Okay, now everyone, very quickly write down the 3 things we discussed in the chat box. So first one is health, safety and welfare. These are 3 very interesting topics. Now health. So tell me one thing, what is said about health? So here it is talked about workers and provisions regarding their health. What should an employer and occupier arrange? Alright, how should health be maintained? First, you must keep yourself and your surroundings clean. Do you keep your study area very dirty? And don't you even bath daily? Yes or no? You'll say, ma'am, don't ask right now. We don't even know when we are waking up or when we're sleeping. How we are waking up and where are we sitting? How does outside looks? We have forgotten all about cleanliness. But the employer or the occupier can never neglect the cleanliness of their workers. So how can health measures be ensured that have been governed by sections 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19? Section 11 to 19 discusses health of labor and how to maintain it. It states cleanliness is important. The workers in factory, their cleanliness have to be kept in mind. Cleanliness here means 2 types. One says that the premises around you needs to be kept clean and hygienic, and there is even a provision for the cleanliness of the inside of the worker. So it's talking about 2 things. One is outside cleanliness and other is inside. So cleanliness should be there. We will discuss in detail what provisions they have laid down for cleanliness. You see, it has also mentioned that how many days a week sweeping, mopping, dusting and even cleaning needs to be done. Everything, even number of times whitewashing, painting is required is here. In short, whole cleanliness details has been given. And then water disposal. Now imagine you are working in a place where a lot of water has been spilled on the floor, right? So would you let that water stay on the floor there? This water spillage can increase the chance of dengue and other diseases. Therefore, a requirement of a proper drainage system is there. There should be proper ventilation, air conditioning and artificial humidification. Air conditioning means artificial humidification, as air conditioning can't be in whole factory, right? After that, provisions for dusting and other things, and there should be no overcrowding. Don't cram workers into a small area. There should be sufficient space to move around. There should not be overcrowding. Now lighting. Imagine you are working in a factory and the owner is asking you to work by climbing over someone else. There is no space for you. So how much space should be there has also been defined in that. It says that 14.2 cubic meters should be the space for each individual worker. There should be proper lighting and drinking facilities should be there. There should be spittoons. Do you know what is it? And don't even ask what other arrangements have been made. I feel this chapter is hardly known to laborers. If laborers will read this chapter, they'll see that for them. In industrial law, many beneficial and favorable provisions have been written to improve their work-life conditions. And hence, there should be a proper arrangement of urinals. Like I said, one thing will be outsides. Cleanliness. There is also about the cleanliness of the inside of the labor. It's a natural process. So that needs to be sanitized. If you don't arrange for it, where will these workers go? Do you understand? Akshay Kumar's movie was also made on this. Do you remember? This movie was advertised a lot. A lot of posters came out. I won't say movie's name, okay? Do read these points as well. So is it all clear? Thus this arrangement should be there. You see, this act has unraveled so many threads. What can I even say? This is also mentioned in the act that okay, it is known that men's women's toilets should be segregated, but it has also been written that the seating space. Basically, how many workers should share one seating arrangement? Do you understand? It says 20 workers should be given one seating arrangement. Okay, so I mean, what should I say? It has been said washrooms and all, therefore I have to teach it. Clear? Students, what does spittoon means? Ritu is asking what is it? Spittoon, do you understand? It's for spitting. Now look at these labors. From the point of view of a labor, imagine the act we are reading. Just imagine yourself as a labor, a hardcore labor doing rigorous work. The workers who work in factories, have you seen them? I would show you how they act. They would place a cloth like this on their body and another part of it tied to their foreheads. Have you seen it? What do? They smoke BD all day long and eat Kenny. They hold it like this and eat. Right? Yes? Then they constantly spit after eating. So they will just spit anywhere, even on the wall. Then because of this, people even write and keep a slogan here on the wall: spitting is prohibited. So that's why spittoons are important and their arrangements should be there. Okay, where people can spit easily. Are we through with this? Is it clear? Some guys are saying, ma'am, Vimal. Okay. So what do we call this whole thing? It's health. They are talking about what? The health concerns of the worker and ways for maintaining cleanliness. Cleanliness is important of both outside and inside. Our management team is very active. They brought the cloth. Okay, see this. In this way, the workers keep this and wander around. Or else like this, they tie the cloth around their head like this. So they are the labor class. Okay. All these arrangements have been made for them, everything for them. Are you understanding this? Okay. All these arrangements are there. All these facilities needs to be provided. Look, I have also made a PPT for you. Like I said, cleanliness. So all points of cleanliness has been discussed. Now let's say in the exam it comes. Okay. A 4-mark question about writing a short note on cleanliness. What will you write? Same things that you do at home, you will do similarly here. Is the house swept daily or once a week? Dusting at least you do daily. Don't be so lazy. You should dust daily. You should sweep the floor daily. Okay, yes, the floor is not washed daily. Just once a week on Sunday. So the scrubbing that you do of the floor with detergent, you wash it. So they are saying to wash the floor once every week. Proper drainage, painting once in 5 years, varnishing in 5 years. Okay, smooth impervious surfaces need to be cleaned once every 14 months, and in any other case, they should be cleaned once every 14 months. So you have to retain all of this in mind. Please watch carefully. Okay? Yes, Santosh sir. Rohan says Santosh sir OP. It seems like there's a complete different demand for you. Seems like demand is higher for Santosh sir, right? Everyone remembers name. They are our offline children who used to take classes in Kolkata. Okay. Right. So what will happen here? Sweeping needs to be done daily, same as home. And washing floor once a week, learn it. This can be included in your short notes for cleanliness. Okay. Painting etc. once every 5 years. Smooth impervious surfaces once every 14 months. In any other case, once every 14 months. So cleanliness is not just about the outside, it's also very important inside. Otherwise, you will get sick, and for that reason, arrangements like the urinals are mentioned here. Lighting, drinking water, overcrowding. I told you about overcrowding. What was it? 14.2 cubic meters. Okay, there should be space for each worker. Alright, clear? See, I am showing you. So there should be 14.2 cubic meters of space per worker. Okay. So that should be there, and also see. Here you can see under urinals 1 seat for 20 workers. And like I told you that they should be separate for males and females and cleaned every 7 days. The washroom or the toilets need to be washed with proper detergent and disinfectant. Okay, so this was cleanliness. Are we done with this? Is this clear? In our regular batch, we had a lot of fun learning this, and we learned this with the help of a PPT. Students who were in regular batch, tell me, did you enjoy this chapter? Okay guys, is this clear? Yes? Very good. Absolutely, Vinay. Yes. Vinay says Mohit sir is behind Santosh sir's fame. Yes. Clear? So that was entire health. Earlier we were not talking about safety measures, but we will talk about it now. So how to keep safety of the workers? Tell me something. If health is the topic, then what points would you write? Cleanliness. Cleanliness is not just about outside but also inside. Cleanliness will remind you of urinals and washrooms like studied. In cleanliness, you should list all the points. Sweeping should be done daily. Washing should be once a week. Painting should be once in 5 years. Impervious surfaces painting should be in 14 months. So write cleanliness like this: waste disposal and proper ventilation are essential. Dust and fumes, artificial humidification, overcrowding, lightning, drinking, etc. Alright, after that, now let us talk about safety. They're asking how safety measures are to be maintained. Now you see it's a big factory. It has so many different types of machines. A machine had a sharp edge that injured a worker after it came into contact with it and the labor died. Machine should be well protected. Fencing should be installed to enclose machinery. Fencing should be there. After that comes pulleys lift. Have you ever been to a factory site? There are pulleys. For lifting excessive weights, we need pulleys and lifts. So all these arrangements have to be made. Is it clear? Then listen carefully. It says, no young person should be allowed to do hazardous work. They should not operate dangerous machinery. Let's say you work in an industry where such kind of a chemicals or such kind of a pollutants are released that are dangerous for your eyes. So it says you should install proper glares. What else do the laborers need? You see, they already made so many arrangements. Now they are saying give them glasses also. Then they will stand like heroes. It's providing a lift, then a pulley. It's fencing the machine and talking about revolving machinery. Have you seen revolving machinery? Like this, it keeps revolving like this. So they say keep revolving machinery also. Is that clear? And what else is there? Revolving machinery, staircases, etc. are also covered under safety. Keep the machine fenced. Okay, work on or near machinery in motion. Self-acting machine. So tell me, will you leave the pits and holes open after that? Because if you do so, the employees and workers will fall inside. Pits and openings should be covered. Provide safety gear for eye protection like glasses to employees. And protection against dangerous fumes. Okay. And provide revolving machinery, floors, staircases, other facilities. So this discussion is about safety measures for workers working in the factory. So we've covered health, we've covered safety. All these responsibilities are responsibility of factory occupier. And who is factory occupier? An occupier is someone who manages the overall business affairs of a company or factory. So for a company, it's director, and for a partnership firm, it's partner. Or in any other case, and any organization under CG or SG in which any person duly appointed by central government. So are we done with this topic? What about welfare? What we'll study here? So tell me what we'll study here. Now you might think that these laborers have a better life than us. Why don't we just go and become workers? Okay, so let's start welfare. Let's assume that workers are comfortable around, wearing glasses, sunglasses, and uniform in an organized manner. Are you getting? Their safety is well arranged and their health cleanliness is maintained by ensuring that all is done. Students, everything is arranged to protect their wellness and health so that they feel secured. And when we talk about welfare, so they want that workers should get the washing facilities also, which mean that if the workers need to wash and also want to dry their clothes, so they should be given a place for drying and should be provided with drying facility. And after the washing and drying the clothes, the workers are exhausted after all the work they have done. So they demand for sitting facility. Therefore, we've provided the seating facilities to the workers, but now they are demanding for shelter room as they feel sleepy and tired. And after shelter facility, they are now demanding for food facility. And if they are unwell, so now they demand first aid facilities. So study all these facilities in linked manner. So firstly, washing and drying clothes. And after that, sitting and the shelter facilities. Then food, and if they are unwell, then first aid facilities. So there should be washing and drying facilities. There should be restroom, shelter room, seating facilities, and first aid facilities. Do you understand? Now what other provisions are there? So there are separate provisions for women workers. Now let's assume they have 2 or 3 young children. So for women employees, there is an act called the Factories Act for the women workers. There are crèches set up for women. So suppose if any factory employing more than 30 female workers, then it's compulsory for owner to provide the facility of crèches, where there will be a room where children will be playing and there will be swings. Little children will come and play and enjoy their time. Understood? So getting it? In that case, children up to 6 years are allowed. So is it clear? Otherwise, women will bring their grown-up children and women will get busy with them and will not focus on work and will waste their time. So it's stated that if there are more than 30 female workers in a factory, so guys, that is allowed. Okay, that factory is required to build crèches for the children of female who are working. Female workers are allowed to bring their children to workplace up to the age of 6. So guys, what was the age? It was up to 6 years. So tell me, what did I told you about welfare? Well, one more thing you need to remember. Pay attention. So first of all, tell me that what are the conditions for shelter room? So the conditions are that in a provided factory, there should be more than 150 workers. Okay, understood? So now what is it talking about? It's talking about the canteen for food. Canteen is provided when there are more than 250 workers. First aid services are provided when there are 500 workers and a ready-made ambulance inside factory which is equipped with nursing facilities. If more than 500 workers are there, then a ready-made ambulance is available so that if an accident occurs, the person can be treated in it. If any factory has more than 500 workers, it should have a ready-made ambulance with a nursing facilities installed on site. Even if it is 250, first aid box and other things will be needed. Tell me, are we finished? And quickly review this part. What all is there in welfare? Washing facility. And dry them in the drying facility. And also I have written the name of the section and the section number. Remember like this if you can by the section. Now sitting facility. How will you remember that? You are tired by working and need to sit. And now shelter room as you are exhausted, need to sleep and also hungry and have to get first aid when unwell. Do you understand? What did I taught you? Tell me. Shelter room, canteen, first aid, sitting, drying and crutches. What about crutches? If more than 30 women workers or children up to the age of 6 years. So is it clear up to this point? So tell me you all understood. So this completes the 3 provision. Okay guys? So there are 3 provisions mentioned. The Factories Act to promote and regulate 3 things for the employees, for the workers working in the factory. What are the 3 things that regulate and promote their health, safety and welfare? Are we through with this guys? Tell me. So is it clear till now? You can ask if you have any question. Now we will discuss about the working hours of a worker, that what are the timings for work in a day. Okay, if an adult worker is there, then their normal duty hours will be 9 hours. So 9 hours in a single day, or if we are talking about cumulative, then it shouldn't exceed 48 hours in week. It should be 9 hours a day and 48 hours a week. The normal working hours for an adult worker are 9 hours a day and 48 hours a week. So these should be the only working hours for an adult worker. But listen, if you are working more than these hours a day, if you have worked for 10 hours in a day, so you will get overtime for 1 hour extra. And you know that the overtime is paid at twice the normal wage rate. Getting it? So you know what, you get paid double than the normal wage which you get in your normal shifts during your overtime. So how many hours we can work in a day? Therefore, we can work up to 9 hours in a single day. Clear everyone? The maximum 48 hours in a single week. So if you work even 1 hour more than that, you will get paid for overtime. So overtime pay is double or twice the amount of irregular wages that need to be paid to the worker. And one more thing is that, seriously, do we have to work for 9 hours continuously, even after having such good arrangements? Facilities like food and wearing glasses, washing, drying, they'll work 9 hours? No, they won't work 9 hours. Do you understand that, students? Not 9 hours if you have worked for 5 hours in a single day. So when you have spent 5 hours of your work, the 5 hours working is complete. So now you will be allowed for 30 minutes of rest and 30 minutes of break. So as soon as you have worked for 5 hours, you are entitled to half hour rest. So 5 hours work and half an hour of rest. So this cycle will continue. But the total combined time for work and rest in a day shall not be exceed 10.5 hours. So this point is very important. So whatever your daily routine is for work and rest, you need to complete it within the 10.3 to 10.5 hours. Okay guys. Within 10.5 hours. Understood guys? Let's revise again. If an adult is there, how much time of an adult is considered to be normal? It will be 9 hours in a single day and 48 hours in a week. Okay? If you work even 1 extra hour beyond this, what will you get? Overtime. And what's overtime rate? Double wage. Double ordinary wage rate. Clear guys? So the adult need to work for 9 hours? Absolutely not. Work 5 hours and rest for half hour. And the total working hours of a worker including the rest time in a day should not be exceeded by 10 hours and the 60 minutes. Okay, understood? Are we through with this guys? So it could be 9 hours or 48 hours. So this 9 hour of computation or a 48 hour of computation. 15-minute extension is allowed. So if there is a delay of 15 minutes, you won't be paid any overtime for it. So are we done with this? So now here the question comes that, are we all be working from Monday to Sunday? No. So you don't have to worry, you'll get a full day holiday in a week, and generally this particular day is Sunday. Therefore you should get 1 day off in a week, and that should be a Sunday. It's Sunday for the laborers. However, this Sunday can be changed. Some other day can also be a holiday, as per the employer occupied company's owner or the factory owner. But it shall not continue. Okay. So no particular worker should work for more than 10 days continuously without any break. Suppose it's Monday to Sunday. I worked. Okay. I'm an employee working Monday to Sunday. So suppose we worked 6 days and Sunday was about to arrive. What my boss say? My boss said to come on Sunday. We have been revising our routine this week. So no holiday on Sunday, but it will be on Friday from now on. So we have been working here continuously for 7 days. Now my next holiday is on Friday. So this means I have to work 4 more days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. So 7 plus 4 is 11. This period is not allowed to be extended for more than 10 days. So employee cannot work continuously for a period exceeding 10 days. Understood? So the holiday has to be arranged accordingly. So any employee or worker is not allowed to work for a period exceeding 10 consecutive days. It's not allowed. So, okay, in this way, the weekly holidays have been arranged. A worker should work for 9 hours and not more than that, and 48 hours a week. Hence, these are the normal working hours, and therefore overtime is paid at twice the regular wages. 5 hours work, half an hour rest equals 10.5 hours. 1 day of weekly holiday. Sunday can be considered, but work cannot be continued for more than 10 days. 15 minutes. Extension was made normal. I hope this is clear. Ask me any doubt. Now we are going to talk about the agencies. Okay, so here the state government has appointed many agencies to ensure the administration of the act. Inspectors are hired here. Certified surgeons are hired here. Welfare officers are hired. Safety officers are hired. So let's revise this. Inspecting officer, that means inspector. The certifying surgeon, so here its role is to do the certification. These are doctors, medical practitioners. So the surgeons basically certify that young people are fit and fine to work inside any of the factory, especially those adults who are engaged in hazardous processes. So they also need to get health certificate, which is issued by a certifying surgeon. Then next is there are inspectors, also called inspecting staff. Then the welfare officer and the safety officer. So you need to have a welfare officer only if your factory has more than 500 workers. Clear? If more than or equal to 500 workers are working in a factory, then only welfare officer needs to be appointed. And safety officer is appointed if more than 1000 workers are working at the factory. So is it clear? Now inspector. We will discuss about inspector and also about its powers. What does inspector do? It's not the police inspector. So what will this inspector do? It's Governing Factories Act. So no one is allowed into any premises like this. And observe whether provisions of entire act are applied correctly or not. Therefore, he can also examine any plant machinery or the premises. If there is an accident in factory, suppose a worker slipped and accident occur. So he can inquire into that accident to find out what caused it. He can also ask the occupier for any production documents. He can also demand any records, any documents, any register, and can also seize the register. Or if he thinks that there is some article lying there that is the reason for this damage. Let's say 2 workers were fighting with each other and one stabbed the other with knife. And that knife is lying right there where the worker's blood stain are there. So the inspector can also take the possession of that knife and can also keep it in his custody and other powers as prescribed. A separate question may come. That what are the provision for inspector to enter the place? He can examine, can inquire, he can produce document, seize the copies, can take photos, and he can take the possession of the article or exercise such other powers as prescribed. Okay? A separate question may come about this. Are we through with this? So, okay. So tell me guys, is it clear or not to you all? Understood? Chavi, that's very good. I'm so proud of you. So, if you have any problems, just ask me. Okay. So clear? Are you guys clear? So that we can move forward. Inspector's power is done. Okay, but inspector or say in police in general are scary. They can reach anywhere. You should ask for permission before entering any premises. Records, documents and production of any document. They conduct examination. If any accident, they will inspect the site. If they found any property, article or substance there, they can seize it. They take the possession and exercise such other powers as may be prescribed. Are we through with this? No. What's the role of certifying surgeons? I have already taught you about a young person. Children and adolescents considered as young persons who have not reached the age of 18 are not adults. If a young person is working in factory, then their health should be examined, right? Yes, it should be. Certifying surgeon will provide health certificate for health examination. Who are certifying surgeons? Who appoints them? The state government appoints them. They are qualified medical practitioners. The qualified medical practitioners, however, certifying surgeons should not have any vested interest in factory. Okay? So if anyone is engaged in hazardous or any dangerous occupation, they also need health certificate. Or let's say a factory is experiencing repeated casualties or repeated cases of illness. So it's necessary to inspect the cause. Thus, the illness might be caused by the dangerous nature of the processes conducted in that factory. Therefore, at that time, certifying surgeon goes and inspects them. So a certifying surgeon is a medical practitioner. State government appoints. And whom does it examines? It examines a young person or an adult, okay, who is involved in hazardous occupation or there's repeated illness cases. So then he examines, he supervises and do the inquiry about the case and find out the reasons for these repeated cases of illness. Understood. So suppose there is a factory. All the workers who are eating food in the canteen are experiencing diarrhea. So there is some problem with the factory food. So the certifying surgeon will inquire that why they are suffering from the food poisoning. Is it clear? You understood? So all these duties are of certifying surgeon. I already taught you about the welfare officer. Welfare officer is appointed if factory has more or equal to 500 workers. Safety officer if there are more than 100 workers in organization. So what's the duties of an occupier? What is the duty of the occupier? So before occupying any factory, it's compulsory that he must give a notice to the chief inspector of 15 days prior. He will be using these particular places as premises as a factory. Besides this, what's the general duty of occupier? So ensure the health, safety and welfare of workers working in factory. Proper provisioning of plant and machinery to keep everything in safe condition. All this work will be done by the occupier, which is the objective of this act. So who has to pursue the objective of the act? It's the occupier. Okay? Are we through with this? So any questions? So then apart from this, suppose you are a factory, and since you are a factory, so now you have to do is that you want to carry hazardous processes in factory. So the hazardous process is a process that is listed in Schedule 1 of the Factories Act. You are intending to start a hazardous process or taking new premises where you want to conduct a hazardous process. So for that, what did the state government has done? They have kept the appraisal committee. Is that clear, guys? So the duty of appraisal committee is to grant permission. Permission of what? The location of the factory where hazardous processes can or cannot be conducted. Imagine you carry out hazardous processes in a location where schools, hostels are nearby. So they will not give you the permission and the government doesn't have time to investigate all these things. So to do all these work, the government has appointed a separate site appraisal committee. Okay, guys? Therefore, if you need to do any hazardous processes, you need to get the permission from the site appraisal committee. And who appoints the site appraisal committee? The state government. So the state government to appoint a site appraisal committee for advising it. So to consider applications for grant of permission for the initial location of the factory involving hazardous process or expansion. So once you have received approval from the site appraisal committee, no further approval is required. So once you get approval from the state government, you need not to take the approval from the central government or any pollution act. And besides this, tell me what else should the occupier disclose? He should disclose that the measures to ensure the health facilities and health condition. What's online, on-site emergency plans, detailed disaster plan, control measures. Okay. Besides that, the occupier has to maintain records to keep a track of how many workers are working. So it's about health condition and also about the nature of the occupation. Okay. Therefore, the central government has the power to appoint an inquiry committee. Clear? And emergency standards are also there. What is the permissible limit which is also specified in the second schedule? What's permissible limit? Let's suppose I'm making a chemical that releases toxic pollutants into the air. So toxic limit. What will be the permissible limit for toxic pollutants? So that is already mentioned by the government. And the factory should keep its emissions within that limit only. It is not allowed to exceed that limit. And the limit has been specified in the second schedule. So are we through with this? Clear? In addition to this, what is it saying? One more important thing. That is the workers' participation in safety management. So if a worker thinks that he is doing a process and he thinks that this process is dangerous to his health, like he has contracted asthma, it's due to the dangerous pollutants released from the factory. So in that case, the worker has the full right to inform and warn the factory owner about this imminent danger and to the manager and the safety committee. And he can even go to the inspector and report it. So in that case, immediate actions or steps must be taken to remove the danger. And we are through with this. So this completes the Factories Act of 1948. Okay, so occupier is a person who has ultimate control over the company affairs. It's clear? We have completed the important provisions of the Factories Act. Is everything clear? Any questions? Who is the occupier? Tell me. An occupier is a person who is responsible for managing the entire affairs of the company. Clear, guys? Ultimate power rests with the occupier. Who is occupier? If it's partnership firm, then partner is called the occupier. If it's company, then director is occupier. So if there is any other factory owned and controlled by the CG or SG, so in that case, the CG has appointed whoever as the person in charge of that factory. He will be deemed to be the occupier. Are we through with this? Okay. Clear? So this completes your Factories Act. Clear? Apart from that, there are certain penalties. You can find a list of penalties. Let's see. I am going to cover it. I will cover it in 5 minutes. And here, as you can see, they are also talking about annual leave. Annual leave. What is given here? Let's say if you have worked for at least 240 days, okay? If you work constantly for 240 days, therefore, in that case, the adult would be entitled to one holiday in every 20 days. I hope it's clear. And apart from the weekly holiday that you get, if you are working continuously for 240 days, then after every 20 days of work, you will be entitled to one leave. Furthermore, if you have worked in an organization for 300 days, can anyone tell me total number of leaves you will get? You will get leave in every 20 days, 300 divided by 20. That's coming 15, and that means you will be entitled for 15 days of leave. And if you are working for 200 days, and if you are working for 200 days, and you are getting leave in every 20 days, calculate the total leaves. Calculate total number of leaves. Yes. Calculate total number of leaves. Calculate. If there are 200 days, tell me total number of leaves for 200 days. Calculate the total number of leaves. What do you have to calculate here? 200 days, but can you see this 240 here? You will only get leave when you work for 240 days, not 200 days. Why are you calculating? You will not be entitled to any leave. You will be entitled to leave only after working for a minimum of 240 days. Minimum of 240 days. Then you will get leave in every 20 days. I know this is difficult, but you have to understand. Minimum 240 days of work is compulsory. Therefore, it's 1 day work leave for every 20 days. Clear? Now, during previous leave. Whereas for child, it's 15 days. 15 days for child. Guys, child means a small kid. Now tell me, who do we call a child? And for child, it's 15 days, not 20, but 15 days. Clear? So it's 15 days, okay? For a child, the limit has been reduced to 15 days. Furthermore, no female child is allowed to work in any factory except between 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. And if she is a child and if she is a female child, she is allowed to work from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. If she is a woman, then working hours are from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. This all comes in MCQ. You will find this in MCQ several times. For female child, it's 8 to 7 p.m. while for women, it's 6 to 7 p.m. I hope this is clear. Next is no child who has not completed 14 years of age shall be allowed to work in any factory. If the child has not attained age of 14, he or she is not allowed to work. And if any worker wants leave, the day he needs leave, he must submit a 15 days prior written notice or an application to his employer. If suppose he works in public utility service, the services are for welfare of public. He can't just demand leave as it is. Hence, he needs to submit application 1 month prior. Written application. Is it clear? Okay. No problem. I will explain you this again. As you all know that the weekly leave is fixed, that is given for 1 full day on Sunday, right? However, that fixed leave can be arranged on any day of the week by the permission of the employer, along with the worker's consent, okay? And this is all part of annual leave. Therefore, so if you are working for at least 240 days, then in that case, you are entitled for a leave after every 20 days, right? So if you have worked for 300 days in a year, in that case, how many leaves will be allowed? 300 divided by 20, that's 15. Similarly, if it goes for a child, while this limit is for an adult, he will have to work for 20 days to get one leave. However, if it's a child, limit is for 15 days. Clear? It will be 15 days. Moreover, if he wants, he can carry forward this leave. If you didn't take any leave in a year and you have one leave remaining, it can be carried forward to the next year. But the carry forward of leave should not exceed 30 days for adults, while it should not exceed 40 for a child. Working hours for female child is 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Whereas for women it's 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Clear? Understood, guys? Apply in writing 15 days prior to the date he wants to take leave. So he must submit a written application 15 days in advance of the leave date. And if you works in public utility service, then 30 days before. Now let's move ahead. Next is penalty. For employer, if employer, the occupier, has done contravention of provisions of the Act, therefore, in that case, applicable penalty is imprisonment that can extend up to 2 years or a fine that can exceed up to 1 lakh rupees, or it can be both. Always remember these maximum penalties that can be given here, and contravention is of continuing nature, 1000 per day is penalty. What about imprisonment? Max 2 years. Penalty is 1 lakh, and if it continues, then 1000 rupees per day fine. Is this clear? And if it's physical injury, 5000 fine. Whereas if the contravention resulted in death, then in that case, the limit is 25,000 rupees. Okay? So go through this penalty figure once. Hence, penalty for employers is huge. They will be sent to jail and have to give big fines. However, if the workers commit any offense, the penalty is very nominal, only 500 rupees. 500 rupees. I hope it's clear. Okay? Therefore, guys, this completes our Factory Act. I hope you understood and enjoyed this topic. The Factories Act is completed. Are you feeling confident enough about Factories Act chapter? Tell me in the chat box. Are you with me, guys? Come on, tell me in the chat box. Let's just revise the entire industrial law together. Besides this, you don't need to read anything else. Okay? Next. Now, guys, we will be starting our new chapter, and that is the Payment of Gratuity Act, 1972. I hope you all are ready. Let's give round of applause for the new topic, the new chapter, the Payment of Gratuity Act, 1972. Those who haven't hit the like button, hit it now. Now let's take a 2-minute break, and until then you can revise this division. Just go through it once. Just check it out, guys. You will get all the notes. Do not worry about this. Yes, absolutely, for both the old and new syllabus. Definitely, guys, trust me, you will get the notes. You will definitely get the entire notes. So don't worry about it. I will explain you again the last point of the 15 minutes. And what was mentioned in last 15 minutes. So it was generally 9 hours in that, right? But let's say if a worker has worked for 9 hours and 15 minutes, hence 15 minutes of extra work won't be considered overtime. Okay? Yes, Piyush, everything will be revised. Yes. Definitely, guys, don't be skeptical about it. Absolutely. Let's move. Tell me, guys, can we move on to the next topic? Can we move ahead? Let's go. Are you sure we can move ahead? Very good. And next topic is Payment of Gratuity Act. Okay? Payment of Gratuity Act was a state act. A state act. And I am very proud to tell you that this was the West Bengal State Act. West Bengal brought Payment of Gratuity Act in 1971. Central government got inspired by this act. It was then made a central act. Payment of Gratuity Act 1972. What's gratuity? Gratuity means to be out of gratitude. Employer is giving payment to employee. This is a retirement benefit. Clear? When you are given a benefit after employment, such as gratuity, which is paid as a lump sum amount by the employer, as a mark of recognition and as a mark of gratitude for the services that the employee has rendered at the time he is leaving the organization, and that is called gratuity. Do you understand? So tell me, what is gratuity? Is it an employment or retirement benefit? It's retirement. So why is this given? Because you have worked in this organization for many years. And how many years of work? Say, you will be eligible for gratuity only after completing 5 years of service. Only after 5 years of service. Hence, gratuity is a lump sum amount paid by the employer to the employee. And when is it payable? So it's payable at time of resignation, retirement, at the time of superannuation, and at the time of death or disability. That means gratuity becomes payable in 5 cases. Retirement of the employee, resignation, superannuation, death and disability. What is superannuation? Tell me what is it? The superannuation is an age that is contracted between the employer and the employee. Furthermore, on attainment of that age, the employee retires from organization. This is an age that has been fixed between employer and employee. And as soon as the employee reaches that age, then he or she leaves the business or the company or the factory. Clear? And that is the superannuation age. Therefore, as I said, gratuity becomes payable only in these 5 cases: retirement, resignation, superannuation, death or disability. It will be given to the worker or the employee when he or she has worked for a minimum of 5 years of continuous service. 5 years. How to calculate this 5 years of continuous service? This 5 years of continuous service is calculated under 2 different cases. If the worker has worked above the ground or if the worker has worked below the ground. If the worker has worked above the ground, similar to you and me, in that case, how many days he or she has to work? An employee must work a minimum of 240 days in a particular year. Okay, guys? And if it's below the ground and work below the ground is more dangerous, such as the work of mining. Furthermore, people who work inside trains or mines, they are given a certain number of days, 190 days in an year. If you are working 240 days in an year above ground or 190 days below ground, and if you have worked for 5 full years of service, you will be entitled to receive gratuity. And this 5 years of continuous service is required. Let's say you worked for 6 years. Therefore, in that case, you did not have 5 years of continuous service. Your only first 4 years were continuous and then you resumed in 6th year, you will not get gratuity. There should be 5 years of continuous service. How will 1 year be considered valid? To complete 1 year of service, you must work above ground for minimum 240 days. For below the ground, minimum of 190 days are required. Let's suppose if an establishment has only been operating for 6 months, then you should divide it by 2. 240 divided by 2 is 120 days and 190 divided by 2 is 95 days. Moreover, if it's 6 months, then the limit will be halved. It will become a 6-month limit. Now, if I talk about seasonal establishments, any establishment that operates seasonally, for example, for 2, 3 or 4 months. Therefore, in that case, gratuity will become payable if the worker has worked for at least 75% of the total number of days during his tenure. Is this clear? I will repeat this one more time. The worker should have worked at least 75% of the total days at the establishment during his or her tenure, which operated while he was working in that particular factory. Understood? Let's have a quick look at what we have already covered. Where is this act applicable? It is applicable to Pan India. If this comes in exam, where is it applicable? Just write as I told you now in Factories Act. Hence, this is applicable to every factory, every establishment, every shop and every place where minimum number of workers should be 10. In case of an establishment working with power or without power, minimum number of workers should be 20, and this applies to every factory, mine, oil field, plantation, railway and everywhere. So just write with power and without power it will be 20. With power 10. Is it clear? What did I say? The act? How was it created? This act was inspired by West Bengal Employees Payment of Gratuity Act 1971. Therefore, gratuity is a lump sum payment that is given by the employer as a mark of recognition of service. I hope this concept is clear. Once the act is applicable, it will be for life. And even if the number of person reduces subsequently. I hope you get it. And when does an employee receive gratuity? In the case of retirement, in resignation, in superannuation, in death, or in the case of disability. And look at this computation, I taught you this. Please check. 240 feet above ground. 190 days below ground. Divide limits in half in 6 months. It should be 5 years of continuous service, but there is an exemption. In the event of death or disability, or if it's seasonal establishment, 5 years of continuous service is not required. 5 years of continuous service is exempted in the event of an employee's death. And in the event of an employee's disability, physical disability, what will happen? Clear? Now tell me, guys. Therefore, the act has been amended and it is applicable. I hope it's clear. Tell me, guys. Clear? First read it. Revise it because then we will discuss process. Who is going to apply to the employer for receiving gratuity? Which form number do they take? When do they apply and how do they apply? But tell me, is this clear? I don't know if this lecture will be available in recorded form or not. Attend it live. Okay. If I'm sitting here with you, then you should also be here. Okay. If I am motivating you with this lecture, I need your motivation. You must accompany me and stay here with me until the end of the session. Okay. So you must accompany me and stay here with me until the end of the session. It's clear. Just call your mom and tell her to give your food in your room, sit and listen to the lecture and have dinner. Okay. Come on guys, tell me if you are getting the point. Tell me, did you understand it or you have doubts? Speak. Clear? Let's move on. What did I say? Gratuity. This limit of 5 years of continuous service. Limit does not apply if the employee died or becomes disabled. If he came today and he died at the end of this year, he will be eligible. Yes, he will be eligible for gratuity. He needs to work for at least 6 months. It's not like he came today and died tomorrow, he won't get gratuity. There should be 6 months gap. Like if he came today and died after 12 months or became disabled, gratuity becomes payable. Even if the criteria of 5 years continuous service is not done. I hope it's clear. In the event of retirement, this will be provided when employee resigns or is dismissed. How will you leave the organization? Either you have resigned from your position or retired, or you have reached your age of superannuation as mentioned in the contract, or due to death or disablement. And suppose if you are resigning, retiring, or have reached your superannuation age. So obviously, who would apply for gratuity to the employer? Quickly tell me in chat box. I am repeating this. If you are retiring, resigning, or have reached the superannuation age, therefore in that case, if you reach retirement age, then who will apply? Tell me guys. Who will apply to employer? The employee himself will go. You yourself will go. You will go. What form will you take? You will go with form I within 30 days. I hope guys you are getting it. I will go because I am an employee and I need form number I. I will go by filing form I to employer within 30 days. Within 30 days of what? Within 30 days of my retirement, resignation, or reaching superannuation age. I hope this is clear to you. The person who has retired or resigned or who has reached his or her superannuation age will go. And which form will he file? The form is I within how many days? 1 month, 30 days. Understood? 30 days, 30 days. It's not you, but it's I. Form is I. It will be form I. Therefore, I will go to the employer by taking the form I. Is the form number clear to you? It's I. What is the form number? It's I. How many days will it take? 1 month, 30 days. Are we clear? But suppose something bad has happened. Do you understand? The employee is dead or disabled. So tell me one thing. If an employee dies or becomes disabled, can the employee claim the gratuity? Then the nominee will go. This is the case where the nominee is required. Clear? They have already been nominated, right? Already nominated. Even nominee has to go within 30 days. What comes after letter I? It's J. Hence nominee will take form J. Therefore the nominee will take form J. I hope this is clear. He will go to the employer within 30 days. Did you understand? And when he will go in the event of death or the disability of the employee. In case of resignation, superannuation, retirement, employee will go by himself. If there is death or disability, nominee will go. If the employee dies without nominating anyone, the amount will be credited to the account of the legal heir of the employee. There is no nominee because there was no nominee appointed. There is no nominee. Then it's a big problem, and in that case, it will take time. Time limit in the act is 1 year. It has to be claimed within 1 year. I and J are done, then comes K. Which form is required and who will go? Legal heir. And you have to appoint legal heir. So in case of death or disability of the employee without appointing the nominee, there is no nominee, then it's legal heir. It will take time and it will take around 1 year. What is the form? It is IJK. IJK. Let's move ahead. When will I go? I means employee, and the I will go in retirement, resignation, or superannuation. Which form? It's I, and within 30 days. In death or disability, the nominee will go and will go within 30 days. What comes after J? K. When death or disability occurs without appointing a nominee. Are we through with this? Look at this chart. Everything will be clear. Okay. Tell me one thing. As per the Gratuity Act, do you have family? Do you have a family? Do you have a family? I am sorry to say, but you do not have a family. Don't feel offended. You don't have family. Don't be angry with me, you don't have family. I can prove it. Gratuity Act states you don't have family. Do you know what is the definition of family in the Gratuity Act? Family means your better half, right? Clear? Now tell me one thing, that are you married? Tell me. Spouse. If you are not married, then do you have any children? Do you have children? So what are all defined within the family? Spouse, children, or dependent parents. Dependent parents. Do you think your parents are dependent on you? I think you are currently dependent on them. They are not. They might be in future. Therefore, dependent parents are also part of the family. Children, spouse. Dependent parents-in-law, your mother and father-in-law, parents-in-law. Clear? Also the widows and the children, widows and children of your predeceased son. The widow and child of your predeceased son, if any. Is it clear? Hence, it is defined separately. For male, it's his wife. While for female, it's her husband, it could be spouse. Learn common definition. Now guys, tell me again, tell me, do you have your family? Yes. Tell me in chat box how many of you have family. How many of you have family? Those who have family, that's good. Tell me. Tushar is writing in chat box that he does not have wife or any girlfriend. Sorry to hear that. Okay. Okay, we also have some students who are married. Okay, then you have a family. Now moving on, this particular definition is for students who are still unmarried and do not have families currently, okay? Brothers and sisters aren't included in the family. You understand what family means? So, who is a family? This question came up in an MCQ I recently took for the MTP. This question was also there. So, who is included in the family? Your wife. Okay, and your children, your dependent parents, and your dependent in-laws. You get my point? Otherwise, if you already have a child, you understand what I mean? And he was also married. But what if he is dead? Then what about his wife? And also, what did I say, guys? Their children, they will also be covered in the definition of family. Are we through with this? So whatever nomination you make, the nominee has to be a family member as per the Gratuity Act. The nominee must be a family member. But however, if we don't have a family, can we not appoint a nominee? So in that case, relax. You can appoint your girlfriend or boyfriend as a nominee. If you don't have a family member, you can appoint your friends as your family member. Your childhood friends, right? You can appoint your childhood friends or friends as your nominees. But in case in the near future, you have a family, you got married and have a child, in that case, the original non-family member status will be revoked here. Is that clear? Automatically. And when a family is formed, the old nomination you had made, right? Nomination of your friends or girlfriend will be revoked. You'll have to appoint a new family member as nominee. But by default, it might be possible that you may have already appointed your girlfriend as the nominee. After marriage, your girlfriend has become your wife. You need not change the nominee by default. She is a family member now. Are you getting this or not? Are you getting this? Tell me. Yes. Clear? So who all comes under the family? Your spouse and children, whether married or not, doesn't matter. Dependent parent, dependent parents-in-law, widow, and child of the predeceased son. Are we done? Clear? Clear for all? Come on, tell me. Are we done with this or not? Guys, come on, tell me. Are we through with this? Guys, this is our slogan these days. Is it clear? Yes. Someone says, ma'am, you made the atmosphere great. All these things make the atmosphere great, is it? But what about the form number I was teaching, IJK? Didn't it make your atmosphere great? Yes. Yes, Nandini, it will be included if he is a legally adopted child. See, Om Prakash MEPL is my family, but emotions are different things. Set aside your emotions. Gratuity Act doesn't consider that as family. It defines family in this way. Although we know, you get it? You are my family. Okay. I have sacrificed, I have sacrificed everything. I need nothing. I want my students to be happy. I don't want anything beyond that. I want to see your happiness. I can do anything for that. Which can get you marks, which can fetch you marks, which, will make you successful in life. Is it done? Will you remember this? Okay. Are we through with this? Okay. If you have any doubts, please ask. Okay. And nomination. Now let's talk about Kaushal or about Kritika. What should Kritika do? Kritika has got married. Now she has to appoint her nominee. For the process of nomination, you have to select the Form F. When you are applying for nomination, you'll have to fill Form F to nominate someone. Or suppose if you were not married before, but now you are married and want to make changes. If you make any modifications, then once you have acquired your family, this modification must be done within 90 days of acquiring the family. You get it? After 90 days of acquiring your family, you need to change the nomination. This change should be done with the help of Form G, right? F and G is done. We have already discussed forms I, J, K. Now we are talking about these two forms, number L and M. Okay, let's say you go to your employer and say, please give me my gratuity for God's sake. So in that case, the employer accepts your form. Now what he is going to do, he is going to pay you gratuity, but he is going to issue a new form, which is your form number L, and the gratuity will be payable within 30 days. Are you understanding? As you applied within 30 days of that, what will the employer do? He will make a payment of the gratuity amount. Form number L will be issued. But let's say, if the employer believes and has the opinion that the gratuity amount you're asking for is wrong, calculation may not be accurate. Hence, your employer can reject your gratuity form on the grounds of any error or miscalculation. In that case, he is going to issue a form number M. So, if the employer accepts, he'll issue form L. If he rejects, he'll issue form M. And in that case, the court will decide on the actual amount of gratuity payable. The employer has two forms, form L and form M. Clear? If he accepts the form, he'll issue a new form and the gratuity will be payable within 30 days. If he rejects, it will be settled in court due to a miscalculation. Are we done with this? We have already done this. Subsequently, in the future, a person has a family. A family will definitely be created in future. Don't be worried. You want to get married or not? You'll have a family in future. So in that case, if you had nominated your girlfriend or boyfriend or friends, then that nomination will be invalid. You will have to make a fresh nomination from your family members. Are we done with this, guys? The amount of gratuity payable. How is the gratuity amount calculated? You'll get the amount in a lump sum. But how much will you get? Come to the point. Tell me the amount of gratuity I'm entitled to. Yes, listen to me. You will be allowed to receive gratuity payment, okay? Of half the month. We are assuming there are 26 working days in a month. How many working days? 26. So half of the month's salary is for 15 days. By 26, okay, multiplied by 26, you understand? Your last drawn salary, the salary you received last month, the last drawn salary multiplied by your completed years of service, number of years you worked in the organization. If it's 6 years, then into 6. If 7, into 7. If 4, then into 4. Will it be 4 years? No, right? The minimum of continuous service required is 5 years, but I've worked for 6 years and 7 months. How many years of completed service will you count? If it's more than 6 months, it will be counted as 1 year. Here it's 7 months, which is more than 6. Hence, 6 years and 7 months will be counted as 7 years. 6 years and 7 months will be considered as a total of 7 years, right? So check the value. However, the maximum amount payable as gratuity is 20 lakhs. No gratuity payment can exceed 20 lakhs. The limit has been revised. Initially, the maximum limit was 10 lakhs. This ceiling limit was amended. Hence, now the ceiling limit is 20 lakhs. So guys, what will be the amount of gratuity payable? The amount which you have actually computed by this calculation, or 20 lakh rupees. Whichever is lower, that is your amount of gratuity payable. Are we finished with this? This is important. In excess of 6 months, it will be rounded off. But if it's 7 years and 2 months, then gratuity will be payable for 7 years. If it had been 7 years, 8 months, then 8 years gratuity would be payable. The excess of 6 months would be rounded off. Okay, are we clear? This is the amount of gratuity payable. Clear? Everyone tell me. In the chat box, are we done with this? Absolutely clear. Now, what is the mode of payment for gratuity? What will be the mode of payment for gratuity? It can be done either through cash or can be done through check, or by demand draft, postal order, or money order if the amount of gratuity due is up to 1,000. But if it's more than 1,000, so we'll not accept money orders. We'll only accept cash, checks, or DD. Okay? You can have a look here. Mode of payment is very easy. What does salary mean? For the purpose of last drawn salary, salary not only includes your basic, it also includes your DA. Dearness allowance, what is that? It is essentially an allowance to compensate for inflation. Due to rising inflation and cost of living index, you are given DA. So here DA stands for dearness allowance. Is it clear? What is superannuation? I've explained before what superannuation is. Guys, pay attention. Basic means simple emoluments and inflationary allowances. What is superannuation? It is an age which may be fixed in a contract between the employer and the employee, and whenever the employee attains such age, he will vacate the office. Are we through with this? What is the meaning of employee? Anyone who is employed for wages. Now, the terms of employment can be expressed or implied. The work can either be manual or any other work. Clear? In relation to any work, okay? Any doubts? Take a look. But it will never include one thing, okay? It will not include the people who are appointed by CG, SG. It is clear that they are not included here. Are you listening? Hence this here is definition of employee. Clear? Okay guys, now let us talk about the partial or the complete forfeiture of the gratuity amount. Can the employer forfeit an employee's gratuity partially or wholly? This can happen and can be done in only one circumstance. This can happen only in the case of employee's misconduct. Now in case the employer's property has been damaged due to the employee's misconduct, forfeiture can be done. Okay? Up to the amount of damage caused to the employer due to the employee's misconduct. For example, let's say an employee was working. Understood? Now, I don't know. I have no idea what happened to him. He just took the employer's laptop and threw it away. Employer's laptop was around 1 lakh and gratuity payable to that employee was 10 lakhs. Can we deduct 1 lakh the amount of damage caused to the property from the amount of gratuity payable? Yes, we can deduct it. Hence, employer can forfeit gratuity either partially or wholly. In the event of the employee's misconduct, and if an employee engages in any misconduct as a result of which it causes damage to the employer's property, is that clear? But let's say, suppose there was another case law on this such as Travancore. You may have heard about the Travancore Plywood Industries Limited, Travancore Plywood, where an employee was given land. He was given land to live on this land comfortably and peacefully. Upon retirement, he took possession of the land and declared that he wouldn't give up the property. Is it clear? So in that case, just because he's not returning the land, can that be considered sufficient grounds for forfeiting the gratuity? Can employer withhold gratuity from employee just because employee has occupied employer's land? Answer me guys. Just because you have what? Just because you have occupied my land, I'm not giving you the gratuity. Can an employer do this? It is not possible and cannot be done. Employer cannot forfeit gratuity as it can only happen if the property is damaged, which isn't the case here. Here employee has just refused to give up the land. Held in the case of Travancore Plywood Industries Limited, read it. Read this case study and also do glance into what happened in the case of Wazir Chand. Let's assume that I had a land which was given to the employee, a piece of land to use, and we were also collecting rent from that employee, the outstanding rent, okay? From the employee was 1 lakh. The gratuity payable was 5 lakhs. I set off 4 lakhs from that amount. Is this allowed? Yes, it is allowed because this is not a deduction done, but rather a set off. So if an employee has outstanding rent due, then the employer is fully eligible to do the set off from the gratuity payable. Clear? This isn't considered a case of forfeiture. Instead, it's a case of set off held in the case of Wazir Chand. Please take a look at it, guys. Is it clear so far? Any doubts? Check it out. All right. Now, recovery of gratuity. If an employer didn't give gratuity to employee within prescribed time, an aggrieved party has made an application to the controlling authority. The controlling authority will issue a certificate for the amount of gratuity payable to the collector. What will he do? He will recover it from the employer. As land area is recovered, similarly gratuity will be recovered here and interest amount will also be payable. However, the interest payable shall never exceed the amount of gratuity payable under this act. You will have to go to the controlling authority. Controlling authority will appoint a collector. He will recover the gratuity amount. Interest on that is 9% per annum. What is the penalty? On the contravention of any provision of the Act by an employer, the maximum penalty is 1 year of imprisonment and fine of 1,000 rupees or both. And in addition to all of these, suppose if he has done any breach, where he is avoiding making any kind of payment, in such case it's 6 months or 1,000 rupees or both. What should the employer do then? It has also been stated that the employer should always display the abstract. Abstract means part of the entire act. At main entrance of establishment, it should be in both English and common language used by majority of workers. Which form should we use? Form use. So this is also important. Please read it. Gratuity Act is complete. Well done. Gratuity Act is also over. Is the Gratuity Act clear? Tell me, guys. Gratuity Act clear? How was the topic, guys? Come on. So we have covered 2 important chapters and now we will start with Employees Provident Fund, okay? Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1952. Very easy topic. But before that, is everything clear so far? Yes. You can take a 2-minute break. Just power nap breaks. You guys can take a 2-minute break. Come on, guys, take a break. Take a break for 2 minutes. I don't mind. Rest up. Guys, come on, take a 2-minute break. Till then, you can chat with me in the chat box. If you have any queries about it, feel free to ask. Okay? Speak up. We get more direct questions, Nagesh. Case study will be from the ones I covered. Don't worry about it. Very good, Om Prakash. Very good, Kuna. Very good, Ayu. Vikash. I tried my best. I have tried my best to arrange all the notes in a summary form so that I can provide it to you. This will save you a lot of revision time, right? This will save you a lot of revision time. Yes. Do it. Quickly. How are these notes? Are you finding these notes to be easy, guys? Tell me. I'm revising from notes. Just read the notes. Everything will be covered. Trust me. Yes, Muskan, don't worry. 15th. Thank you, Rathor, for your concern. Rathor says, please have some food. Yes, Tanu. I said rounding off will be for excess of 6 months. In 7 years, 6 months, it will be taken as 7 years. If 6 months, 1 day, it's taken as 8 years. You'll get all the notes, so don't worry. I'm working very hard for you day and night so that you get the best resources. And I want the best performance from you. Thank you so much, Anaka. Anaka is saying wonderful session and thank you, ma'am, from Karnataka. Yes, no name, absolutely. They're going to use it. Hurry up, come on, guys. Now tell me, can we move on to the next topic? Can we move to next topic, guys? You have to fill out a Google form. I've already given the link in the description. Then you'll get access to the notes. Come on, guys. Come on, let's start. Thank you, Prinshu. Thanks much, Supraj. Yes, Tina, absolutely. Maximum amount of gratuity payable is 20 lakhs Swarna. Before it was 10, now ceiling limit is revised. Okay, guys. So now let's start with the next topic, the Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provisions Act. Students, listen to me. We are going to start with the next topic, which is about the Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provisions Act. What is this miscellaneous provision? Why to use this term? Here we are going to talk about Provident Fund and then we'll discuss Pension Fund. Next, we are going to talk about the Deposit Linked Insurance Fund. Okay, students, now listen to me very carefully. Till now we discussed gratuity. Gratuity was what? It was retirement benefit, not employment benefit. We are studying Provident Fund, which is retirement benefit. Pension and Provident Fund are retirement benefits. So what is employment benefit? Students, it is not done yet. We will start with bonus wage payments and minimum wages, which are employment benefits. But these are post-employment benefits. So tell me, are we through with this, guys? So this act addresses three aspects: the Provident Fund, the Pension Fund, and the Deposit Linked Insurance Fund. Let's start applicability of the act, which is important topic. This topic is slightly different. So on whom is this act applicable? Students, whenever the applicability question comes up, you just need to write down that this act applies to whole of India, including the territory of Jammu and Kashmir. So you will say this, then you will say the act is applicable to any factory. This act is applicable to any factory that is engaged in any type of industry that is specified in Schedule 1 of this act, and minimum number of workers should be 20. Is that clear to everyone, students? So now we will repeat what I just said, okay? Tell me on whom is this applicable. Any type of factory and its name is specified in the first schedule of this act, and minimum number of workers should be 20. Here criteria of with or without power is not available. If this is the case, then it will be applicable, or besides the factory, any other establishment having a minimum of 20 workers. Where there is no notification, any other establishment with minimum 20 workers is specified by the central government through notification in the official gazette. CG specified by notification in official gazette. You will see the word AG is used, which stands for appropriate government, that refers to either the central government or state government. Okay? So in paper, if they ask define AG, just write CG and SG. So let's repeat it once again. The act is applicable to any factory whose name is specified in Schedule 1 of this act and having a minimum of 20 workers. Okay. Or any other establishment with minimum 20 workers, provided CG has notified in official gazette as specified. Or if there is any other establishment with less than 20 workers, it can also be applicable. This can be done if central government has notification in the official gazette. However, a 2-month prior notice is required for that to happen. So I said three things: the applicability of act on factories, which is specified in first schedule of the act. Then if the minimum workers are 20, then the act is applicable. Then for any other establishment, if the minimum number of workers is 20, but the CG will have to be notified in the OG. And then third one is any other establishment which has less than 20 workers. CG by notification in OG will be there along with 2-month prior notice to be given. So this is the applicability of the act. Okay. This is applicability of the act. Students, is this clear? Factories engaged in any industry specified in Schedule 1 with minimum of 20 workers is applicable. Or an establishment with minimum 20 workers specified by CG in notification in OG. Or an establishment having less than 20 workers specified by CG in notification in OG with 2-month prior notice, then the act is applicable for lifetime. Listen to me now. We are going to do very interesting case. Section 7A, 7B, 7C and 7D is very amazing. Is that clear? Learn the application of the act quickly. Learn up to this point. Okay, guys? Learn the application of the act quickly. Then we will continue. Yes. Yes, Tarun, it's almost same everywhere. Is it clear? Learn it quickly, guys. Please learn it as soon as possible. Please do it. Have you learned till here, students? Tell me in the chat box. So students, listen to me now. We are going to talk about what is Provident Fund? Or now can any one of you tell me? What is the difference between the Provident Fund and the Pension Fund? Tell me. Can anyone tell me their difference here? Provident Fund is a lump sum amount received at time of retirement. But Pension Fund isn't a lump sum benefit. It's a yearly benefit that you'll receive each year after retirement. Do you understand? That's the difference. Okay. Did you see Amitabh sir in Bagban? He withdrew large sum of money from Provident Fund. So then, he bought a car and gave it to his son. That's why when his Provident Fund ran out, he was wandering from street to street and going from place to place. What did children do? They abandoned their parents because father had not applied for pension fund and was not getting pension fund. We saw that they only got Provident Fund if they had pension fund. Then they wouldn't have to eat in pain and discomfort after retirement. They would have gotten some amount of money every year for their maintenance. But he was deprived of that because he got Provident Fund in the movie. So Provident Fund is a lump sum amount, but anything can happen in future. So this act has both the Provident Fund and the pension fund. You will get Provident Fund once, and the pension fund will be given gradually to you. It will not be a lump sum amount, but it will be paid in installments every year, so that you can live a happy life even after your retirement. Is that clear, students? So that is benefit of Provident Fund. You will be shocked to know that amount of Provident Fund is same amount from which we divert pension fund amount. So amount payable to pension fund is diverted from Provident Fund. We will discuss it later, okay students? Tell me, is this clear? So now guys, let's suppose I feel that in my Provident Fund 2 lakhs rupees are due, but employer thinks it is 1.5 lakhs. So whenever there is a dispute between the employer and the worker with relation to Provident Fund amount, so in that situation, that whole amount will be settled by the PF Commissioner. Please remember it, students, PF Commissioner. So this Provident Fund Commissioner can pass for orders under the Section 7A. In Section 7A, I said determination of money due under Provident Fund. Under PF Act, if an amount is due and there is dispute regarding that amount between employer and employee, so who will do determination of final amount? That will be done by PF Commissioner or any other authorized officer appointed by government. So then he can pass. 4 types of orders. The order that will be passed should have 4 characteristics. The amount, the due date for the amount, any interest or penalty payable by the employer, and his administrative charges and fees should be mentioned. To determine and pass this order, do you understand it, guys? In event of dispute between employer and employee, they can apply to PF Commissioner under Section 7A. Under Section 7A, PF Commissioner will be passing an order that will include 4 determinants, which will contain amount of PF, due date of payment, interest and penalties due, and administration fees or charges. Are we done with this? So this is Section 7A. Please guys read it. Read it quickly. Read it quickly. Clear? Yes, Supriyo. Now all of you listen carefully. Let's suppose this Provident Fund order that has been passed, who passed it? The Provident Fund Commissioner did. If either the employer or the employee is aggrieved by an order passed by the PF Commissioner, then they have 2 options. Either they can opt for a review under Section 7B, or they can appeal to the higher authority, the Provident Fund Appellate Tribunal, or to the court. Okay, so any person who is aggrieved by the order passed by the PF Commissioner under Section 7A has 2 options, or we can say he has 2 opportunities. Either he will go to the same Provident Fund Commissioner and ask for a review of it. So review should be done by a person who originally viewed the whole matter. Is that clear to everyone? The person who originally placed the order will review it again. So students, if you are requesting a review, you will go to the same PF Commissioner who already passed the order, and you will exercise the review quarter. When you see the calculation mistake right in front of you, that is an error which is apparently visible to us, or some new material evidences has been discovered, and that is why you are requesting the PF Commissioner to review the order. Students, that is governed by Section 7B. Always remember. Okay? Therefore, the PF Commissioner will have to review it. However, it is at the PF Commissioner's discretion whether to accept or reject the application for review. So students, in that case, if PF Commissioner says that he will not review the order he previously passed and that it is valid, final and complete, now you cannot appeal this decision by going ahead. Understood? So over here you can file an appeal to the higher authority only against an order passed by the Provident Fund Commissioner under Section 7A or 7B. Clear? However, you cannot file an appeal on grounds of rejection. This means you have been rejected. You cannot appeal this rejection, and you cannot make it a grievance and appeal. An appeal can only be filed against an order issued under Section 7A or 7B. Guys, is it clear? Now what is 7C? We do not know what 7C is yet. 7C is not higher authority. Over here 7C is discussing a suo motu review of Provident Fund. So PF Commissioner can also review it, and its time limit is 5 years. So Provident Fund Commissioner on suo motu can review himself on his own motion. But if an appeal has already been made, then they cannot review it. And what is the time period for this review? 5 years. This has been governed by Section 7C. Section 7C outlines the time limit for the suo motu review by the PF Commissioner's Office of Orders passed under Section 7A and 7B. Okay? And Section 7D discusses appellate tribunal, which allows you to appeal to a higher authority. Is everything clear? So listen again. What did I say? What are the points that we discussed? Either employer or employee aggrieved by the order passed under Section 7A can review it under Section 7B. Provided appeal was not filed, because who would appeal? The laborers. If they go to higher authority, would they ask lower authority again? No. The Provident Fund Commissioner is junior compared to the appellate tribunal. So students, once you have appealed to appellate tribunal for a higher authority, you cannot go back and request another review. It's better to review first, then appeal. You can appeal after reviewing. Is that clear, students? But after the appeal, he cannot review. And in the review, I said either because of the errors or if new material evidence has been discovered. A new order under Section 7B. If still aggrieved, a review can be done again. For example, if the order was passed under 7B and you think it was a wrong order, can you review it again? Will you ask the PF Commissioner to review it again? You did not pass the order properly. So there is no limit on the number of times the PF Commissioner can review their own order. Will you keep reviewing again and again? No. Okay, students? So what does 7D provide? Appointment of EPF, appellate tribunal, PF appellate tribunal. So what will he do? He is going to hear an appeal against the order passed under Section 7A, 7B and 7C. Okay, 7A, 7B or 7C. However, no appeal can be filed against any order rejecting an application for review. I already said if the PF Commissioner says he won't review, then you can't file an appeal. Okay? Appeal can only be filed against order passed under 7A, 7B or 7C. PF Commissioner can review order himself. Time limit is 5 years. He can reopen case and redetermine PF liability. I hope everyone understood the topic very well, right? Please have a look. Clear or not? Students, is it clear? Yes or no? Students watching live from home. Sorry, YouTube kids. While teaching, slip of tongue occurs a lot. Okay? And guys, we are getting an amazing response from newly started face-to-face batches. And as soon as your CMA exams are over, we are definitely starting Group 2 batches from scratch again. Okay? Tell me, students, are we through with this, guys? Can we move ahead? Do you know Provident Fund is a statutory right? The employer is giving this to employee. If in case employee becomes insolvent, your money is there in the Provident Fund. So now can your Provident Fund be attached? No assignment or no attachment can be done of Provident Fund of an employee in the event of the insolvency of the employee. So if an employee becomes insolvent, his property can be attached, but his Provident Fund cannot be attached. Okay. Meaning Provident Fund cannot be used to settle outside liability. Okay. Any doubts? Now assume that he became insolvent and then he died. So the event of his death, who is subscriber and his legal heir? Provident Fund will become his absolute property. So in the event of the death of the subscriber, legal heir, or the subscriber of the employee, even he is becoming insolvent. So even then you cannot attach an individual's Provident Fund. Is it clear, students? Be very careful. Students, once you have withdrawn fund from EPF and brought it home, it can be attached. It has to be done secretly if insolvency is there. Now do you know what will happen if the employer becomes insolvent? Employer had to pay 1 lakh to employee, but employer became insolvent. What happens in this case? So in that case, from all of his private estate, he will first have to discharge amount of PF because it is preferential liability. Now look at protection against attachment. So here, if an employee becomes insolvent, his Provident Fund cannot be attached and cannot be paid to liability holder. And in the event of death, it becomes absolute property of dependent. Once withdrawn, EPF can be attached. If employer becomes insolvent, limited cash available. So the Provident Fund has to be paid because it is preferential liability. It ensures that employer does not reduce wages. Okay. How much liability is there? How much to give in Provident Fund? Limit was 8.33%, then 10%, now 12%. So guys, both employer and employee have to contribute 12% of salary to the Provident Fund. Provident Fund is a lump sum benefit that employees receive upon retirement, a post-employment benefit. Clear? So who is paying this 12% of salary? Both employer and employee. So here if the employer is giving 12%, he will not deduct anything. They are not entitled to that. He cannot deduct amount which he is liable to pay from employee. Because it is employer's liability to make payment and he cannot deduct it from salary. An employer can deduct employee's contribution if the employee has not paid it separately. But employer's contribution has to be made by employer from his own share. He cannot deduct it from the salary. Employees, is that clear? And the pension fund rate is 8.33% of salary. Who will pay this 8.33% of the salary? So guys, do you know about this? Who will pay this 8.33% of the salary? Who will pay this? Neither employer nor employee. I have told you the amount for pension fund will be diverted from Provident Fund. This pension fund is monthly payment paid in form of annuity. It is not a lump sum payment. Okay. And it is not something the employer contributes. Rather, this amount is diverted from the Provident Fund itself. And what about the deposit linked insurance scheme? The maximum payment is 1%. 1% payment will be made and actual rate will be decided by CG but will not exceed 1%. Now who will pay payment of limit and other costs? Guys, the employer will have to do this. And the employer is supposed to pay 1/4 of the contribution done for administration of funds to central government. Look here. Look at this chart, guys. Look at this chart. Please look here. PF lump sum benefit. Both of them pay 12% of salary. Pension fund monthly payment is 8.33% of salary, but not separately contributed by employer. Employees deposit linked insurance scheme. Employer contributions is compulsory as decided by CG but cannot exceed 1% of salary. Then the CG might ask employer 1/4 of such amount for administration of fund. You know, it's government's habit to ask for money whenever possible. They always seek money. So guys, here the poor employer is giving a maximum of 1% for insurance. Okay. Now listen to me. What he is saying is that this fund is administered by whom? By the central government. Central government is saying that we are incurring expenditure for administration of fund. So they need money for that. 1/4 of amount that you contribute to insurance fund, give that money to me as well for administration of fund. Then they say that the pension fund payable is maximum 2.5 lakhs to 6 lakhs. This should be between 2.5 lakhs and 6 lakhs. Is it clear to everyone, guys? Are we through with this? Have a look, guys. Is it clear? And also one more thing. If an employee's salary exceeds 15,000, then all this computation will be done at a maximum of 15,000. Pay will not be more than 15,000 and all rates will be computed at maximum rate. If an employee's salary by chance exceeds 15,000, then all rate computations will be done at 15,000. Okay. So if your salary is 20,000, then it will be deemed as 15,000 for purpose of calculating the contributions under the Provident Fund, Pension Fund and for the deposit insurance scheme. Okay. Please check it out, guys. Is it clear? Please guys have a look at these notes over here and keep on revising. These are very helpful. Done. Provident Fund is not applicable to whom? Guess it. Employees of central government and state government, because they are government employees. Employees in state and central government already have separate acts covering them. They are receiving good benefits. People say if I get government job, life is secure. They already get many benefits under different acts. What will they do with Gratuity Act? So government employees are not covered. Or employees of any establishment which is created under State Act, Central Act or Provincial Act will also not be covered. Or any cooperative society with less than a total of 50 workers and without any power. Why are cooperative societies formed? For mutual help. They are already very poor. Are you getting it, guys? They don't even have the power, neither they have 50 workers. So Gratuity Act will not be applicable on them because of their situation. Clear? Provident fund is not applicable on them. So Provident fund is not applicable to them. Okay. What are exemptions? Employees of CGST. Cooperative society without power and less than 50 workers. Employer of establishment created under central state or provincial act. Okay. Clear? Now listen carefully. Even the employer of an establishment, along with majority of workers, can go and approach the CG which has at least 100 employees. They can apply to the central government by giving application. They can request the government to make their own PF rules which has more benefits to the employers. This can be done, students. If government thinks that PF rule proposed by employer for his establishment is more beneficial than benefits contained in PF Act, government may allow him to apply it, okay? But in that case, government will send inspecting officer who will check from time to time whether you are applying provisions of Act properly or not. And a solid track record for past 3 years. If these things are fulfilled, then it will be allowed. But if in meantime it is found that they are not applying their PF rules which they had shown to government, in that case, the central government will reapply the old PF Act along with interest and penalty. Clear? Look at it. Read this. Read this, guys. Okay? You can create your own PF rules too. Clear? Now suppose. Understand this. Let's just suppose that an employee's transfer has occurred. He is moving from one factory or organization to another. The factory which he is leaving behind already had the PF Act applicable. So, what about his amount due means his provident fund? It's transferred to new establishment, provided that new establishment is also covered under the Provident Fund Act. But it will be entirely at the discretion of the employee. If he wants to withdraw the PF amount, he is allowed to do so. Either this, it can be transferred to the new establishment provided the PF Act is also applicable there. Because if the PF Act is not applicable at his new location, he will be required to withdraw his PF amount. This happens in the case of transfer of establishment. Let's say the employer has been transferred, merger happened, or establishment is sold, then PF liability until the transfer date will be borne personally by the previous employer. And the new employer will bear the cost of the asset transfer. Is this clear? And after that, any PF liabilities arising after the transfer have to be borne personally by the new employer. Are we through with this? I have explained all this in detail. Revise it. In case of doubts, reach out. Okay, let's see. I explained this in detail. I will share the notes, revise them. Transfer of establishment. After that, when is pension payable? Superannuation. Superannuation age is 58 years. For pension, retirement, disablement, death. During service, death, or after retirement, clear? Look here. Excluded employee. Apprentice is not included. Then they have also talked about withdrawals, like when we can withdraw from provident funds. If you need to pay for premium of LIC or in case of any illness, or in the event of a power outage, in the event of a marriage, or in the case of any kind of disability, or if there is any natural calamity, then in all these cases PF funds can be withdrawn. So advance for payment of premium towards LIC of member, or closure of factory, or marriage. In case of self or brothers or sisters marriage, family members affected due to cut in the electricity supply, or natural calamity, flood, etc. Clear? In case of illness too, then withdrawal from the PF is allowed. Questions in exams ask about advances or withdrawals allowed from Provident Fund, asking to list them. You should know this list. This completes Provident Fund and miscellaneous provisions. Is it clear? Are we through with this? Tell me. Give a big round of applause as we are done. Right. Okay. Clear? Focus on what is being done right now, guys. Karthik, your energy boosts me. Tell me quickly, is it clear? We have covered 3 important chapters. ESI is very small. We will finish it in the next 15 minutes. Okay, guys. Tell me doubts. Okay. How long is the marathon? Why are you stressing about it? Just go with flow and enjoy the class. Enjoy where you are right now. Live in present. Okay. Next. Getting my point? Everything will be completely clear. Don't worry at all. Okay. Similarly, we will cover all the topics in this way. And all of you should know this one main thing about me. Law is in my blood. Are you understanding this? No one can take it away. Okay? It's in my blood. So please revise this. It's important. Advances, withdrawals from fund is very important. Have a look at these topics. They are important. Okay? The company's mission series has already been done, right? Go through these topics very carefully. And I have another request for you. I've been noticing this thing for a few days now. You know, there is a scam going on. Please stay away from those scams. Some people do wrong things or spread negativity on Telegram channel, and so it's your duty to tell them that how much the MEPL has done and still doing for its students. Clear? You know what I want? Love from you all. You should give a befitting reply to these scammers. What do they keep on doing? They blame us for things we did not do, and therefore we are not giving any weight to the baseless complaints leveled against us. We're interacting live today, so I'm sharing this. Okay? Yes, Debashis, why not? I mean, if you cannot appreciate someone, then don't go ahead and ruin things for them. Get some life and focus on that instead of creating troubles. Okay. Now let's start with the next topic, ESI. Employees State Insurance Act of 1948. Factories Act and ESI Act both came in 1948. It's a simple act and quite easy to understand. It's a straightforward act. Yes, I am discussing ESI. I am talking about ESI. Yes. Now, let's proceed. And I know that you guys are there for me. You guys are there for MEPL. And I don't have to stress and say, pay heed to all those petty affairs. I focus on my work and stay away from these things. Okay. And I don't need to prove this. Whenever there was a problem, we were always there for you, weren't we? We stood by your side and supported you. You have seen Mohit Sir's efforts. A case was filed against MEPL. Once. Yes, Raj, absolutely. Well said. Thank you very much, Anjali. Moving on. And truly, I am telling you very honestly, these notes can be blindly relied on. These notes are so meticulously prepared. They will save your revision time as well. Just watch my lecture. Review these notes and everything will be crystal clear. Your exams will also go very well. Thank you, Rathor. It means a lot. Ashwini. He is here only. He is here only with us. Okay? You just have to feel him. Yes. So, now I am discussing about ESI, means the Employees State Insurance Act of 1948. Look here. ESI notes are also prepared for you. Let's revise from there itself. After that, we will discuss code on wages. Employees State Insurance Act. So what is ESI? It stands for Employees State Insurance Act. But what is it all about? This is a social security scheme. State insurance is in its name. It will provide insurance benefits. Who will receive insurance benefit? Not only the employees but their dependent family members also. ESI is a social security scheme that provides insurance benefits not only to the employees working in the factory but also to their dependent family members. This insurance scheme is not only for employees but also for their dependent family members. Let's see its applicability. Who is it applicable on? Regarding applicability, it is applicable to all factories. With power, there's a need of 10 workers. Without power, the need is 20. It's applicable to shops, commercials, establishments, cinema, transport clubs, hotels, newspapers and restaurants with at least 20 workers. You can look up its applicability. Now listen carefully. Any establishment to which this act applies needs to obtain unique registration code from state government's regional officer by filing form 1. Clear? You need to file form number 1. So take a look. Establishments on whom this act is applicable shall procure a unique registration code from regional officer by filing form number 1. Okay? For latest current limit, what's percentage of employees' contribution? How much is it? It's like what happens in Provident fund, which is 12% of salary for both employer-employee. For the pension fund, it is 8.33%, and for the insurance, it was a maximum of 1%. What is being said? How much is contribution limit? It's 3.25% for employers and 0.75% for employees. So, the employers and the employees' contribution is this much percent of the salary. Have you understood? Means a total of 4%. Initially, limit was 4.75 and 1.75, but it has been changed and revised currently to contribution of 3.25% and 0.75% of the salary. Are we clear? Any doubts? Yes, Sneha, yes, absolutely. Then time limit. This contribution must be made by the 21st of next month. Payments due on 21st of next month. Monthly payments need to be made on the 21st of every month. Now listen carefully. I had talked about the employer's contribution earlier in class. If there is a contribution by the employer, then the employer cannot deduct that from the salary. Salary cannot be deducted for such contribution. But if the employee's contribution is not given, it is allowed to be deducted from the salary. The time limit is 21st of next month. Employer's contribution salary can't be deducted. However, employee's salary or contribution can be deducted. We are discussing administration of ESI scheme. This whole scheme is managed by Employees State Insurance Corporation. So there is a corporation that manages the scheme. Name of the corporation is Employees State Corporation. Insurance Corporation. You need to remember this because it's important. Repeat after me. Employees State Insurance Corporation. Once again, Employees State Insurance Corporation. Who constitute ESI Corporation? There is one chairperson, one vice chairperson, and the remaining members represent the interests of both the employer and the employee, and both have equal number of members representing the interests of both employer and employees. In addition, there's state government. In addition to that, there will be a medical professional present, and also there are 3 members of the parliament. Understood? Let's see it again. I said about this act's administration that it's important. Under the administration of the ESI scheme, there's Employees State Insurance Corporation. What is its composition? One chairperson and one vice chairman. So these 2 are there, and other persons representing the interests of both employees and employers. 3 members of parliament. Director General of the corporation are its ex officio member. They are the ex officio member. Okay, so memorize it. Composition of ESI corporation includes chairman and vice chairman. Equal representatives of employees and employers. 3 members of parliament and 1 director general. Ex officio members will also be part of this. Now, what are its powers and duties? It's quite obvious. To implement the provisions of this act and to maintain the health and welfare of the insured person. Not only the insured employee but their dependents too. They can also acquire and hold any property, whether movable or immovable. They can purchase any property with the money from the fund. They can invest to earn interest too. They can also raise loans. What are powers and duties of corporation? They can promote measures for improvement of health and welfare of insured person. They can invest or reinvest money Acquire or hold the property whether movable or immovable. Raise the loan or discharge it. Clear? This was about the ESI Corporation. Now pay attention. Besides this, there are two more bodies. There is a Standing Committee and a Medical Benefit Council. There are two committees, the Standing Committee and MBC, or the Medical Benefit Council. What is the role of the Standing Committee? What does it do? They have also given you the composition of the Standing Committee. It is nothing but the executive body of the ESI Corporation. Who will administer the ESI Corporation? The Standing Committee will. The Standing Committee is the executive body of this ESI Corporation. It manages and administers the affairs of the entire corporation. So the Standing Committee is again an authority appointed under this ESI scheme. And what does the Standing Committee do? Here it manages all of the corporation's affairs. It's acting as the executive body for the administration of the ESI Corporation. Look here at this. There are two others besides corporation, Standing Committee and Medical Benefit Council. The Standing Committee administers the affairs of the corporation and acts as an executive body composition, one chairperson. 3 members from corporation will sit here. What is next? 3 members of corporation representing such 3 state governments. 8 members elected by the corporation for a tenure of 2 years. This was about the Standing Committee. They are again re-elected after being elected for 2 years. This is all about Standing Committee. So far, I have explained 2 things. One is ESI Corporation. Who administers the ESI scheme? The ESI Corporation. And this corporation manages everything. The health and welfare of the employees along with all their dependent family members. The ESI Corporation also makes investments and raise loans for the management and administration of this corporation. It needs a committee called Standing Committee, and it is the executive body of the ESI Corporation. Its composition should have 1 chairperson, 3 members from the corporation, etc. What is the role of the Medical Benefit Council or MBC? What does the MBC do? It stands for Medical Benefit Council. The central government will appoint the Medical Benefit Council, and MBC advises the corporation. It should provide advice on how to offer medical benefits to employees based on who is facing what problems. Look here, CG to constitute a Medical Benefit Council that will advise the corporation. And Standing Committee or SC. SC looks after matters relating to administration of medical benefit, grant of benefit. And it also has the power to investigate any issue and complaints against any medical practitioner. So it can investigate these matters. And what is the tenure of the Medical Benefit Council? It is 4 years. Its composition, a chairperson, a co-chairperson, an ex officio person, and 1 member. It is representing the state. 3 members represent employers, 3 represent employees, and 3 represent medical profession. Questions on its composition may come, but honestly, it won't be asked in that much detail. If it comes, you'll remember at least something and be able to write it. The composition has a chairman, 3 members are here too. Then representative of employer and employee. Standing Committee has a tenure of 2 years. What's MBC's tenure? The Medical Benefit Council has a tenure of 4 years. Can you tell me what is Standing Committee? It is executive body of the ESI Corporation. And what is Medical Benefit Council doing? It is providing guidance and advice to the Standing Committee and the corporation. For what? For the medical benefits and for grants, meaning who should be given how much of it. It decides whether to investigate an accident or address any complaint against a medical practitioner. This is the overall role. Is that clear? We have done 3 things in the administration of ESI scheme. We discussed about the Standing Committee, the Medical Benefit Council, and the ESI Corporation. Who manages the ESI fund? The ESI Corporation manages it. It's administered by corporation. A bank account in the name of ESI fund shall be opened with the RBI or any other bank approved by the appropriate government. Now, a question might also come in exam asking who manages this fund. So, ESI Corporation, what is this fund used for? Think and answer. What is it used for? For the purpose it's maintained. For providing medical treatment and insurance benefits. To whom? To employees and their dependent family members. Besides medical benefits, payments are also made. Standing Committee, MBC, and the corporation consists of many members. The money required to pay for those members' fee comes from here. There's payment of salary, gratuity, leave, and pension for all the workers of the corporation and officers of the corporation. Under this act, hospitals and dispensaries are also maintained. All this expense will come from this fund. So maintenance, management and installation of any hospital or dispensaries, or the cost of auditing when an auditor audits the accounts of the corporation. This fund also covers the fee charged by the auditor. If a court is set up such as ESI court, then its differing expenses will also be borne by this fund. Look, purpose for which fund may be expended. Provisions of medical treatment to the insured persons and to their families. Then payment of fee of corporation, members of corporation, standing committee, medical benefit council, regional board, payment of salaries, leave, gratuity, hospital maintenance, dispensary and auditing costs. Differing cost of ESI code setup. Let's talk about the benefits. What benefits are there? We discussed which benefits will be provided. So medical benefits including sickness benefits and miscarriage benefits for female workers. Dependent family members of insured persons receive a percentage of payment including payments for medical treatment along with funeral expenses in the event of the person's death. Employee benefits are provided to insured person as well as their dependents. Periodical payments in case of sickness certified by medical practitioner and payments to women in case of miscarriage or confinement. Periodical payments to insured persons. Dependents. Funeral expenses, periodical payments to insured persons with disablement. So disablement caused by an accident or a hazard while working at workplace. This is the result of employment injury. Clear? If you have any doubts, ask them. Okay? Clear? Now ESI code. Who will constitute the ESI code? SG by notification in OG can constitute an ESI code. Clear? Now what are we saying for this? No civil court has power to decide the matters which are falling within the purview of the ESI court. Only they will decide that. Now read this. Check the penalty in the institute's notes. Your ESI is complete. Standing Committee, Medical Benefit Council and ESI Corp is important in this. How much amount to pay? Employer's contribution is 3.25%. 0.75% of employees. And what is ESI? It's nothing. It provides an integrated need-based. It's a social insurance scheme that would protect the interests of workers in contingencies such as sickness or maternity leave or temporary or permanent physical disablement, death due to employment injury resulting in loss of wages or earning capacity. Medical care will be provided to workers and to their immediate dependents. So it's social security scheme which is giving this insurance benefit not only to employees who are covered here but also to their dependent family members. Are we through with this? Is it clear? Yes. ESI is completed. How was the topic? ESI is done. We have done 4 chapters. We have covered Gratuity, Provident Fund, ESI, and your first chapter on the Factories Act is also done. Now we will talk about Code on Wages. I'll just give you a brief overview of the Code on Wages at the beginning. That how it works? Code on Wages is not yet applicable because rules have not been notified by central government. Okay, so till now the Code on Wages has only been implemented, right? But what is applicable? Payment of Bonus Act is applicable, Payment of Wages Act is applicable, Minimum Wages Act is applicable, and Equal Remuneration Act. Okay, and the Code on Wages is basically has been passed. And as soon as this passed, these 4 acts which I named, this will remain obliterated as if they never existed in the statute. But again, we cannot implement Code on Wages fully right now. Why? Because there are a lot of things that government needs to notify. And that is why we are still following the Payment of Bonus Act 1965 and the Payment of Wages Act. Clear? When was Code on Wages implemented? It became applicable all over India from August 8, 2019. August 8, 2019. Okay. So basically what is being said in this code, why it is called as code. Many students are confused about the Code on Wages. It's nothing, just simply a code. Why is the word code used here? Code means combination of the act. So when this code got passed, it repealed the 4 acts which includes Payment of Wages Act 1936, Minimum Wages 1948, Payment of Bonus 1965, Equal Remuneration 1976. So as soon as the Code on Wages came, these 4 acts were repealed. This never existed in the statute. It is clear it never existed. It have been obliterated. And this new code that came, it was divided into chapters and had a total of 9 chapters into 69 sections. There are 9 chapters in total with 69 sections, in which chapter 4 explains the Payment of Bonus Act, but the provisions written in the act are the same as the Payment of Bonus Act itself. Only the name of section will be different. You would not say section as per Payment of Bonus Act, but what would you say? Section as per Code on Wages, Chapter 4. There are total 9 chapters and Chapter 4 is about payment of bonus. Chapter 2 is about minimum wages. Chapter 3 is payment of wages. And one more act, that is equal remuneration. Clear? So this is how Code on Wages was created. Are you getting this? I have already prepared notes for this and I'll show you. So this was all about Code on Wages. Now we will study Payment of Bonus Act. Okay? But before that, you should have preliminary knowledge that what is this Code on Wages. I have found many students getting confused. What is this code? Is it applicable? Code is nothing. Okay, but the combination of these 4 acts which got repealed with the passing of this act. This code, look, read this and you'll get the clarity. Read it. Read it, Code on Wages. Look. Read this and tell me, is it clear or not? Read it, guys. Quickly read it. Yes, students, and one more thing, very good, Rajibul. The insurance benefit is not applicable to those employees whose salary is more than 21,000. Okay, any employees who have salary of 21,000, for them, this benefit will not be given. Okay? Yes. It's the same. We're going to discuss the Payment of Bonus Act now. Don't worry. Read it. Is it clear? Are we through with this? Read it. Yes, Khushi. It's not there. Now check. As I told you guys, here it is. Check it out. Look. Syllabus that includes Code on Wages is applicable. Say that we are reading Chapter 4 of the Code. And those who have Payment of Bonus Act in their syllabus, you can say we are studying that. Code on Wages is not yet applicable. Okay? Read it. Look, minimum wages is in Chapter 2. Payment of wages in 3. Payment of bonus in Chapter 4. Are you getting this? Now we will talk about Chapter 4. Look, Chapter 4 of the Code. Payment of Bonus Act 1965. Let's start Payment of Bonus Act. So, before we begin discussing the Payment of Bonus Act, please give me a positive attitude and give me a smile. Okay, let's stretch ourselves. We studied this much. In very short period, we have covered 4 chapters which were important for your syllabus. I have covered it so minutely, every single thing. So come on, give me a smile. Yes, I'm imagining that all of you are smiling beautifully. Okay? With a positive attitude, we will continue further. Yes, come on, let's start with this quickly. Energy level should be high. Yes, guys. We will study Payment of Bonus Act. But for that, I want to see your smile. Yes, write in the chat box, give me a smile. You keep commenting smile. Now I am asking, but you are not giving me smile. Give me a sweet, bright smile. With all the positive energy and aura. And those who are tired, stand up and stretch your body like this. Look here, stretch like the way I am doing. Yes, do it. Come on, hands up in the air. Hands down, hands up in the air. Let's go. Whenever you feel tired, then get up and do some exercise. It will energize your body. Yes. And have green tea. Have green tea, have Glucon-D, energy level will be high. Yes. Anisha, it's there. Focus, guys. You all should focus here to understand better. Let's start. Well, we have to study. Am I right? Now it's your call whether you want to study in a very passive tone like I have to study, there is no other option, or you want to study with full energy. It's your call whether study seriously or enjoy while studying. We have to study. There is no option, you have to study. So study with positivity, with full energy and enthusiasm. With that commitment. Enjoy and study, okay? So enjoy while studying. Yes, enjoy while studying. Okay. Okay, very good, Tanisha Shrishti. Sandeep, no Kaushal. I didn't say that either. Okay. Yes. Yes. Devashish is asking in how many attempts I cleared this. Guys, I cleared everything in one attempt. Everything I have cleared. One attempt. In fact, I completed CA and CS both. So CS, the company secretary course. I passed the company secretary exam even before I completed my BCom. Okay, I became CS even before 3 years. It takes 3 years to complete graduation, but before that I completed my company secretary course, that too with AIR 3. I secured a rank at all the levels, just because you asked, so I told you. Clear? I have secured ranks at all professional levels, but getting a rank or clearing at first attempt doesn't matter, okay? All that matters is how honestly and diligently you are giving your best. Yes. Okay. Now we will move on to the Payment of Bonus Act. Is that clear? Let's start Payment of Bonus Act. Clear? Now let's discuss Payment of Bonus Act. And yes, I can show you the medal. It was right here. I am just showing you this so that this can motivate you and you can also get such medals in your life. These are the things which, you can probably boost throughout your life. This is the thing that, which you can boost. If I get an opportunity, then I will show you my entire studio once. Where I feel a lot of positive vibes. It's clear? I've always kept all these things around me so that whenever I feel demotivated, I can look at them and get energized and smile. I have arranged everything very properly that the students have given me so far. I have kept them arranged and I keep looking at them. It gives me a lot of encouragement and positivity. Okay, let's start. Let's start discussing the Payment of Bonus Act. The Payment of Bonus Act is applicable to all factories and establishments that employ minimum 20 workers on any day of the accounting year. That 10-20 worker criteria is no longer in effect. It is applicable to all, whether it's factory or establishment. Minimum how many workers should be there? 20 workers on any single day of the accounting year, and once applicable, it will continue to remain applicable. Okay, even if subsequently the number of employees gets reduced below 20. Are we through with this? Is it clear? Is it clear so far? Tell me. Absolutely, Piyush. Okay, is that clear? So it is applicable on all establishments having a minimum of 20 workers employed on any day of the accounting year, and it shall continue to apply even in subsequent years reduced below 20. It gets reduced below 20. Okay. Now some students are asking, so I'll just tell you, I mean, me and Mohit sir, all right. My brother, we have always been the greatest of the students from our childhood days, and we began teaching since we were in 10th grade. I mean, we were never told to study. It didn't happen that way. We always had that urge inside us. And when it comes to teaching, that was also inherited. Are you getting it? I mean, from our childhood days, we were inclined towards this teaching. And it was our passion. So today we are here. So I really feel that my brother is with me. He is close to me. I always feel that. Okay? You also feel the same. That sir is with you. He is watching you and you will definitely score very good marks. He is my inspiration. Yes, come. So Payment of Bonus Act is clear. It applies to all factories and establishments having minimum 20 people. Workers employed on any day of the accounting year, and Act once applicable will be applicable for the lifetime. Even if it gets reduced below 20. Clear so far? Now listen carefully. Let us discuss eligibility to get bonus. What is eligibility? Who is the eligible person to get the bonus? Provided he worked in establishment over which Payment of Bonus Act is applicable and he has worked for 30 days in accounting year. If you work for 30 days in accounting year, then you will get bonus, but not for entire year. You will get proportionate bonus. Also, your monthly salary should not exceed 21,000. If your salary exceeds 21,000, then you will not receive bonus. Listen carefully. What are the eligibility criteria for getting bonus? You must have worked for at least 30 days in an accounting year. Your monthly salary per month shall not exceed 21,000 rupees. And also, you are working in establishment or factory over which payment of bonus act is applicable. Tell me eligibility criteria is clear or not. Employees should have worked in an establishment on which bonus payment is applicable. He should have worked for at least 30 days. Okay, and his salary per month should not exceed 21,000 rupees per month. Now tell me, is this clear so far? Are we through with this? Is it clear? Tell me. Nandini sir, obviously sir. Okay. He is my elder brother. Let me know. Did you get it? We can keep the personal talks aside and our full focus should be on the lecture right now. For that, sometimes life comes. Okay. After your exams are over, we'll talk a lot about it. Now we have to focus on our lecture. Focus here. Let's repeat. What is eligibility criteria for bonus? Employees should have worked in organization or factory on which payment of bonus act is applicable, and they should have worked for minimum of 30 days. And his monthly salary should not exceed 21,000 rupees. Are we through with this? Now let's discuss what is the amount of bonus payable. Okay. Minimum bonus, maximum bonus. Please focus guys. Where is your focus? Focus on the lecture focus. How much minimum bonus will you get? Minimum bonus would be 8.33% of the salary or 100 rupees per annum. Whichever is higher, this is amount of the minimum bonus. You will get the minimum bonus. Either there is profit or loss, whether allocable surplus exists or not. Softly speaking, allocable surplus means, okay, imagine it as profit in your mind. Allocable surplus means profit. I will tell you later what is allocable surplus, but whether there is allocable surplus or not, you will get minimum bonus. How much will be received? 8.33% of salary or 100 rupees per annum, whichever is higher. Are you getting my point? Whichever is higher? 8.33% of the salary or 100 rupees per annum, whichever is higher. Minimum bonus has to be paid irrespective of whether the establishment upon whom the bonus act is applicable is having allocable surplus or is not having the allocable surplus. Then when the maximum amount of bonus will be applicable, maximum bonus will be only payable when your allocable surplus exceeds your minimum bonus. Understood? Amount will be maximum bonus or minimum depends. When will you get maximum bonus? If you've earned a profit more than the minimum bonus. What does profit mean? It means allocable surplus. So if your allocable surplus exceeds your minimum bonus, you will get maximum bonus. What will be the amount of maximum bonus? It will be 20% of salary, but it will subject to amount of allocable surplus. Subject to the amount of allocable surplus, we will do it practically. It will be learned easily. Again, one more thing. If an employee's salary exceeds 7,000 per month, then for the purpose of the computation of the bonus, 7,000 will be deemed to be your salary. How much salary should be taken? 7,000. Even if your salary is 15,000 per month, still the computation will be done on 7,000 per month. Okay? Are you getting this or not? For example, suppose the salary of employee is 3,000. What is the employee's salary? It is 3,000. The employee's salary is 3,000. So in that case, listen carefully. Minimum bonus will be 3,000. Find 8.33%. Calculate 8.33% of it. What's the minimum bonus? Find it. 8.33%. Calculate. Come on, hurry up. Yes. Quickly do it. Find it very quickly, guys, very quickly. What is 8.33% of 3,000? How much did you get? Calculate 8.33% of that. Yes, how much? It's 8.33%. How much is it? 8.33%. Tell me how much is it? Around 250 rupees. So 250 or 100 rupees per annum, whichever is higher. Are we clear on this? Now please listen very carefully. When will you get this bonus? Provided that you have worked for 30 working days in a year, you have worked 30 days. So now these 30 days, what all will be included in computation of 30 working days? Let's say a worker came to work, but you had the shortage of the raw materials or your machine was broken. You told the laborer to come back tomorrow. So if an employer lays off employees, is it the fault of employee or employer? It's employer's fault. Whenever a layoff is given, it must be included in 30 working days. It will be considered a working day. Even if he didn't work, why didn't he work? Because of your mistake. Employee was not at fault. So the labor was not at fault, the worker was not at fault. So the layoff will be included, right? And layoff is generally given. How? Due to shortage of raw materials, power cut or machinery breakdown. Is it clear? Or let's say worker went on holiday with paid leave. So if it's holiday leave with salary, then it will be included in computation of 30 days. Then maternity leave is also paid. It will be included as well. Or temporary disablement that occurred during the course of employment. So what will happen in that case? Let's say a worker was working and while operating the machine, he gets injured. He takes 2 days off to get the bandage done. So will you say, no, you did not come to work, you will not get your salary? They will be counted as working days. So that will be included in calculation of working days. So tell me again, what all is included in these 30 working days? Layoff will be in there. Power cuts will be there, which leads to layoff. Holiday leave with salary and maternity leave. Temporary disability leave will also come. This will be done later. Tell me, is this clear so far? Okay, see this also. The minimum bonus payable is 8.33% of the salary or 100 rupees per annum, whichever is higher. When the maximum bonus will be payable? If allocable surplus exceeds your minimum bonus. And what will be the rate in that case? Tell me. 20% of the salary, but subject to the amount of allocable surplus. Clear? Now suppose that your maximum bonus is 4800 rupees. But your allocable surplus is only 4500. So in that case, you will not receive maximum bonus of 4800. You will get 4500. Subject to the amount of allocable surplus, you will be given the maximum bonus, and the maximum bonus is 20% of the salary. The computation of 30 working days is also clear. Is it clear? Just take a look. I will go into details about the sums later. Do you have any doubts so far? Everything clear? Adjustment of interim or customary or puja bonus. Okay, let's say that you gave puja bonus to some employees. Can you please give me some bonus? Durga Puja is very famous in Kolkata. They call it Puja bonus, right? You gave Diwali bonus or any other thing like Eid bonus, you gave bonus. So can we deduct that from bonus? Yes, we can. If you have given any bonus, whether it's Puja bonus or any bonus given in between like out of joy or customary bonus, in that case, amount will be deducted from total bonus payable to employee by employer under this act. For example, if Mr. X total bonus is 1000, okay, but they had already given 200, so the final amount of bonus will be 800. You give birthday bonus as birthday is coming, so in that case it will be 500. Clear? Are we through with this? Is it clear? Thank you, Suman. Means a lot. Are we through? Tell me one thing. If any employee has committed any misconduct or any misbehavior, which resulted in financial loss for the employer, financial loss on the misconduct of the employee. We discussed the employer has, he suffered a financial loss. So in that case, can you deduct that amount from his bonus or not? Answer me. Yes, you can deduct. Such an amount or the financial loss can be deducted from the total amount of the bonus payable to the employee for that particular year. You will deduct just for that year in which the loss occurred, not previous. Clear? So misconduct of the employee causing financial loss, such amount of the loss can be deducted from the bonus, but only to the extent of such loss, only from that year's bonus in which the loss took place. Now what is a disqualification from bonus? You will forfeit the entire bonus and not give it. So when is it possible? Provided if the employee commits such an act which results in the termination of his services. You have terminated the employee, you have removed the employee, you have dismissed the employee. You dismissed him on either of 4 grounds. If an employee commits some fraud, or maybe he has done some riots, or maybe done some violent behavior. If he became violent or assaulted someone or did misappropriation of the assets. If he's been convicted of sexual harassment. Sexually abused someone. So under these 4 grounds, if you terminated your employee from the company, then in that case no amount of bonus will be payable. The entire outstanding bonus of the employee can be withheld and can be deducted. Is that clear? So disqualification, thus it's different. In earlier case I mentioned that amount of financial loss faced can be deducted by the employer from the bonus because of employee's misconduct in case they have not removed them from company. But if they were to remove them on either of the mentioned 4 grounds, so in that case you can deduct it. Regardless of whether you have suffered financial loss or not, you can still forfeit the entire bonus. Are we through? Mr. X says misconduct. Violence caused employer loss of 400. What will he do with his outstanding bonus? They can deduct financial loss of 400 rupees and pay 600, or if they are doing the second thing. If employee is dismissed, they can deduct entire 1000. Let's say that they dismissed an employee on ground of fraud. But again, they reinstated back that employee with back wages, they rehired him. He's saying, I made a mistake, forgive me. I will not repeat such an action. Then the entire bonus will be payable and you cannot make deductions. If the above mentioned employee after being dismissed is reinstated with back wages, then he is entitled to full bonus without any deductions held in case of ONGC versus Shyam Kumar Sehgal. Are we through? Any doubts? Tell me. Are we through with this? Is it clear? Now bonus linked with productivity. What does it mean? Suppose there's a contract between employer and employee, and that contract stated that the employer would pay the employee the maximum bonus amount out of happiness, more than 20% of the salary. The maximum bonus payable is 20%. But contract says to give more than 20%. Or there is contract between employer and employee where the employee, as in the worker, is relinquishing their right to receive the minimum bonus. He's saying that he doesn't want the minimum bonus, or that the employer has made an agreement to give him more than 20% bonus. So all of these contracts are null and void. All these agreements are null and void because no contract can override the provisions of the act. The law. Is the act or the law big or contract? You can't make contract for anything. Contracts like shoot him and kill him. Will it work? He will be punished by IPC. If you touch someone or hit them, it's considered a crime under the Indian Penal Code 1860. This is called battery. It's called physical torturing, or you're beating them. So don't do that. You do this with friends out of habit and hit their head. Or you hit on the back in a funny way. They could put you in jail for battery. This is a crime under the Indian Penal Code 1860. So be aware of that. Be careful and don't do these things. Clear? Let's go. There is no contract. No, there is no such contract that can override the act or the law. So that's what we've discussed. See, employee cannot waive off his right. To receive minimum bonus, employer cannot be forced to pay more than maximum bonus. Understand? No contract can override the law. Is it clear? Are we done with this? I'm not talking about provisions for set on and set off. Provision for set on and set off is not applicable for first 5 years. Not 5, it will start from the 6th year, from company's incorporation date. This set on and set off provision is allowed for 4 accounting years. 4 years. Set on. Set on will be applicable when the company is making a huge profit. Means when your allocable surplus exceeds the amount of your maximum bonus. When your allocable surplus is exceeding the maximum bonus, then the provision of set on will be applicable. Set off, which means there is a loss. Do you understand? It seems like your allocable surplus isn't even enough to cover the minimum bonus. If your allocable surplus is less than minimum bonus, then set off will be done for 4 years. Clear? Set on is applicable when allocable surplus is more than maximum bonus, and set off when it is less than minimum bonus. Set on and set off provision is not valid in first 5 accounting years. For example, this example will give clarity. This is the minimum bonus. Maximum bonus and allocable. Will minimum bonus be payable or max? What is criteria for paying maximum bonus? Where your allocable surplus exceeds your minimum bonus, maximum is payable. Will I get maximum bonus in this case? Maximum bonus, that too subject to amount of allocable surplus. What is the maximum bonus amount? 4800. Okay, which is subjected to the allocable surplus. You paid maximum bonus of 4800, but how much of your extra profit is left in company after that? Total is 5000, 4800 given out, so 200 is surplus amount. 200 is surplus. This is what we call the concept of set on. Now you can set on. So when was the set on? You can set on when your allocable surplus is more than the maximum bonus. And the more it is, allocable surplus exceeds the maximum bonus by 200. This amount of 200 will be set on for the next 4 accounting years. Now what is happening in year 7? This is minimum bonus, maximum and allocable. For computation of allocable surplus, 1900 is not the limit. This 200 will be carried forward to the next accounting year. Now your revised allocable surplus becomes 1900 plus 200, which is 2100. Now check whether minimum bonus is payable or the maximum. Check it out. Is your allocable surplus more than minimum bonus? Yes. In case your allocable surplus is more than the minimum bonus, then what will be payable? Tell me what's payable. Speak up. Is it maximum bonus? But again, subject to what? Allocable surplus amount. Okay. Maximum bonus subject to allocable surplus is 2100. Amount of bonus payable is 2100. Are we through? Clear? It's the concept of set on. Set on. Now what about set off? Check here, set off. Minimum 2000, max 4800, allocable surplus 1900. What will be paid here? Minimum bonus. Why? Because your allocable surplus is less than, because it's less than minimum bonus. So how much minimum bonus will you pay? 2000. Allocable surplus 1900. Means allocable surplus is less than minimum bonus. The loss is 100 rupees. Which will be carried forward. Next year you will set it off and reduce it. So the allocable surplus for next year, which you see as 2100, is not actually 2100. It's 2100 minus 100, so 2000 rupees. Right? Now you check what's happening. Minimum bonus is equal to allocable surplus, so amount of bonus payable will be 2000. Hence you will give 2000 bonus. Are we through? So this completes your concept of minimum bonus. Allocable surplus. Set on and set off when to give maximum bonus and when to give minimum bonus. So tell me, when will we give it? Answer this. When will the concept of set on arise? Set on will arise when allocable surplus is exceeding your maximum bonus. So by the amount through which it's exceeding maximum bonus will set on for 4 subsequent accounting years. Set off will occur when allocable surplus is less than minimum bonus. It will be done for next 4 accounting years. Got it or not? Now after that we discussed another thing, which is the rate of minimum bonus. 8.33% of the salary or 100 rupees per year, whichever is higher. Okay. So now when is the maximum bonus to be paid? Where your allocable surplus exceed minimum bonus and your maximum bonus will be 20% of the salary. But if your salary is more than 7,000, so in that case 7,000 will be taken as the base amount for computation of bonus. Are you getting this so far? Set on, set off. When minimum maximum bonus and the maximum bonus you give 20%, so it should be subjected to the amount of the total available allocable surplus. Now we will discuss the concept of allocable surplus. They also give you this in the exams. Write short note on allocable surplus. So the allocable surplus is 60% and 67% of the available surplus respectively. 67% of the available surplus. If your company has not paid the dividends, if they did not pay it, then they will be paying more dividends now, right? Do you understand? So in that case, what said? 67% of available surplus is allocable, and when will it be 60%? Available when dividend has been paid. If dividend is paid, then 60% of the available surplus will be your allocable. If not paid, then 67%. What is available surplus? I said that generally it's profit. Allocable is a part. It refers to allocating from something, so allocation has to be done through a part of available surplus, so it is a part of the available surplus. Available surplus is gross profit. You deduct depreciation as per the IT Act, and then you deduct the provision for tax or any other sum that the employer might have paid you, which is specified in 3rd schedule, is also deducted, or any other type of rebates like development rebates or investment allowances. You have to deduct all of those as well. I will show you. Check it out. What's the meaning of allocable surplus? 67% of the available surplus when dividend is not paid, and 60% of available surplus when it's paid. Available surplus means gross profit minus what? Depreciation. Under section 32 of IT Act minus provision for tax minus such other sum as may be prescribed in respect of employer in the 3rd schedule, or any amount payable by way of development rebate, investment allowance. This is very important. It's asked in exam to write short note on. You should learn this. You should be learning this topic. Is it clear now? Are we through? Please revise it. Learn allocable surplus and available surplus. Then we'll discuss on whom Bonus Act does not apply. There are certain establishments on whom Bonus Act isn't applicable. Let's discuss that. Let's take a closer look at this. Please learn it. Allocable is a part of available, just as the name suggests allocable. So what do you allocate with? You need something, so allocate with available. How much is available? What is the gross profit percentage? How much is it? Tell me total gross profit. How much will be available and what needs to be deducted? Don't deduct based on depreciation account, deduct on IT Act basis. Depreciation rate is different as per Accounts and IT Act. You will have to deduct PF and tax from the profit. Then we'll know if that profit is ours. And what else will you deduct? What else will you deduct from third schedule? Expenses which I mentioned earlier, or any type of what is called a development rebate. Okay. Development allowance. Is it clear? Now there are certain establishments to whom this act is not applicable. You know that. Employees of RBI, LIC and those who are government employees. Or the seaman as defined under the Merchant Shipping Act 1958 or a dock worker under the Dock Workers Act. 1948, any employee or anyone working for public sector unit or any employee of your charitable institution, non-profit organization or Indian Red Cross Society, Indian Chamber of Commerce. Anyone from Social Security or employees employed by IFCI or any financial corporations like NABARD, UTI, IDBI, SIDBI or Inland Water Transport. You remember this? I remember all these. Do you remember though? Let's discuss it. Where is this act not applicable? LIC, say it along with me. Speak up. LIC, RBI, public sector units, dock worker and the seaman, employees of Indian Red Cross Society, Chamber of Commerce, Indian Chamber of Commerce or the, what else did I mention? IFCI. I also mentioned NABARD and UTI, IDBI and SIDBI. It's not applicable on them. Clear? Look, LIC or general insurance, RBI employees. Seaman is defined under Section 3 of Merchant Shipping Act 1958. Dock worker under Dock Worker Act 1948, government employees. And public sector unit. Charitable institution employees under Indian Red Cross Society. Non-profit seeking hospitals. Education institution. Employees of the Inland Water Transport. Okay. IFCI, any financial corporation established under Section 3. Deposit Insurance Corporation, NABARD. UTI, IDBI, SIDBI. National Housing Bank. Are we through? Here, take a look. See this? Memorize all these in class itself. LIC, RBI, UTI, IDBI. Merchant Shipping Seaman, Dock Worker. Okay. We will discuss the award as well. Don't worry students, I will explain the definition of award to you. What does an award means? It means any labor court, alright? Anyone who is passing a judgment or is determining any dispute. Maybe they passed interim judgment, interim determination or final determination. Okay? Which is passed by a court, tribunal or labor court. These are basically the courts covered under the Industrial Disputes Act. Okay, so we call it an award. Award means not the trophy that you receive. Award refers to determination, the determination of any dispute. So who determined that dispute? It was done by labor court or an industrial or the national tribunal. Do you know where these tribunals are constituted? Under the Industrial Disputes Act 1947. So that's called an award, okay? An award. I will cover the award next. You can get in exam to define award. Okay. So are we through with this? These are all revised. So these are all covered students. We are done with this. The entire lesson is done till here, right? Tell me students, aren't we done? Yes, we are. The lesson is finished here. So did you learn it all? Let's see. So students, tell me quickly, are we done with this or not? Yes. Superb. Yes, very good. Now what will we discuss? Situation when payment of bonus chapter shall apply on public sector units. We just discussed this act doesn't apply to employees of public sector units, but sometimes it becomes applicable. Now do you know when and why? In order to keep them at par. But this is not a way. I mean employees of private institution, employees of private factory establishment, you applied act on them. But for it to be applicable to PSU, one condition is required. If in public sector units such a product sorry. Yes, if the public sector, listen carefully, if public sector is selling such a product or service which is in competition with the private sector, and those products and services are fetching at least 20% of the total revenue to them, okay? Then we will assume we can apply bonus act on it as well. Generally, on PSUs, public sector undertakings, the bonus act provision are not applicable. But if let's assume there's a PSU unit which is selling assumably such a product or service which is in competition with private sector, and revenue generated by that product and service accounts for at least 20% of the total revenue of that particular PSU, then you will see in this case the bonus act will be applicable in order to keep them at par, to keep both of them at par. Understood? Now read. Situation when payment of bonus chapter shall apply if an establishment in PSU is selling product in competition with private sector and that product service generates at least 20% of its total revenue. Then what will happen to this bonus chapter? The act will become applicable. Is it clear? Go through it once again later. Now let's discuss who are these acts applicable at. Now is it applicable at part-time employees like sweepers? Yes. Piece-rated worker? Yes. And seasonal worker? Yes. Apprentices, are they applicable or not applicable? Not applicable. Okay, after that probationer? Yes. Employees dismissed due to misconduct, they will not receive pay. Who will get bonus and who will not? Reinstated with back wages will get. Employees who are retrenched, yes, they will get if they were without any fault. Now let us see penalties here. Imprisonment up to 6 months or fine up to 1,000 or both. In case of what? Contravention of provision of above act. What is award? Tell me. I have already told you. Award means to do settlement, okay? So to determine some things, what things? Those things which are in dispute, which are in industrial dispute. And who decided on that dispute? The labor court. Industrial tribunal or national tribunal. Constituted under Industrial Dispute Act. Award refers to interim or final determination of any industrial dispute. Labor court, industrial tribunal, national tribunal under Industrial Dispute Act. Is it clear? And if there is any dispute in this act, it will be considered, basically it shall be deemed to be industrial dispute as defined under Industrial Dispute Act 1947. Now let us see what is included in salary. So what does salary means? It means remuneration expressed in terms of money, whether expressed or implied, and includes DA. However, it does not include any bonus, traveling or house accommodation. Okay? Does it include retrenchment, compensation, commission and contribution? No. Now often this salary definition comes up. Okay? So learn salary definition. Now look at accounting year definition of it. In case of corporation, if accounting year definition comes. So in case of corporation, what's the definition of accounting year? Tell me. Yes, quickly. Read it on your own. It's very easy. You can easily read it by yourself. There's nothing there to teach. Nothing is there as such. Now we will discuss the time limit for paying bonus. What is it? Tell me what is the time limit quickly. Tell me the time limit, guys. Write in the chat. What is the time limit? If it is an undisputed case, when will it be given? Within 8 months. When did it say within 8 months? Okay. Is it clear to all? 8 months from the end of that financial year, that accounting year. If accounting year is of 1920. Okay. So 8 months of 1920, that is 31st. 3, 2020. Now if you will add 8 months from this. So it will be 30. 1120. Okay. So within 8 months from the end of the accounting year, amount of the bonus will be payable. Okay. In the case of undisputed, we can also extend this 8-month criteria up till what? Till 2 years as well, provided that the employer has obtained permission from the appropriate government. But if, for example, this is disputed, then case is where it's pending in court. Okay, whether it is an industrial tribunal or labor court. So in that case, from the time the court has passed the award, then let's say within 1 month. Within what? 1 month. From the date of the award. Within what? 1 month from the date of the award. Now tell me guys, did you understand? Yes, very good Chetan, Sakshi Shayan, very good. So this is the time limit for the payment of the bonus. This is your deadline for the bonus payment. I hope it's clear to you. Check it out guys, is it clear? Yes. So we have completed your bonus act as well. We have completely cleared the bonus. I hope everything is clear with you. I hope it is very, very clear with you. It is clear, right? Okay. Check the time limit. I hope it's also clear to you what is award. What is award? That is also clear to you, right? You can clearly see that we have covered so many chapters, did almost the entire syllabus. Now the payment of the wages. And the Minimum Wages Act is very small. And it is not as important compared to these chapters. So we will discuss it all very quickly, okay? Done? Yes? Tell me guys in the chat box, are you understanding it? How is this session going? Are you guys enjoying the session? Come on, tell me. Are you guys enjoying? Yes? Are you guys enjoying the session or not? Are you enjoying it? Are you enjoying or not? Tell me at least. Yes, guys, please speak up. Are you sleeping? Whether there will be a video or not, don't ask me. Do you understand? Keep attending the lecture. We won't take much time, at most 20 minutes of your time, and then we'll end. We will wind up. I will finish the entire thing for you within 20 minutes. Very good, Chetan. Chetan is saying I never saw such good revision. So I just want a reward from you if you like today's session. So after the session ends, do let me know by commenting. I know you're very busy studying, you don't find time. It won't even take you 30 seconds to comment. And don't think that so many people have commented, our comment won't matter to ma'am. But trust me guys, each and every comment matters a lot to me, okay? It gives me confidence on, whether you guys like the lecture or not. Is that clear? Very good, Dhanashri. Well done. Don't worry, just clear the inter quickly. Then we'll meet in the finals, guys. In finals, I'll be taking the entire corporate law, then strategic performance management and business valuation model. Right? I'll teach 2 subjects in your finals. Let's go. We aren't talking about the payment of wages, okay? Before we discuss this, what is the date of Payment of Wages Act? Tell me. The Payment of Wages Act 1936. The year is 1936. Why was Payment of Wages Act brought and what is it? We know wages will be paid. Not just payment, but this act regulates the payment of wages only for certain classes of employed persons. This is not applicable to everyone. It is applicable to certain classes of employed persons. But why this act? There used to be many malpractices related to the time and relating to mode of payment, right? Difference in mode of payments, like person wants check and you are giving cash, or else you are unnecessarily delaying the payment. To regulate the time and mode of payment and to eliminate malpractice relating to the payment of wages. So to take care all of this, to ensure timely payment, to also ensure deductions which takes place without any authorization, this act was brought. The Payment of Wages Act of 1936 is applicable to certain classes of employed persons. The objective of this was what? It was to basically regulate 2 things. To regulate time and mode for wages that is mentioned under the payment in the Payment of Wages Act. This act was passed to regulate the time and mode of payment so that the unauthorized deductions which used to be there, which generally the employee does, will be removed to eliminate all the bad practices. Okay, now here definition is given. In this act, it is said that all employers or employees, for both employed persons or the employees, it includes not only employees but their legal representatives of deceased employee. If the employee is deceased, their legal representative will also be included. And here the definition of a factory is same as seen in Factories Act. We just saw factories definition in the Factories Act of 1948, right? So the definition is the same under section 2 clause M. Is this clear? Yes. So this is the provision of entire act. Besides this, it says that this act is applicable to industries. Now who all falls under industries? On what all is it applicable at? So factory is there. You know the definition of a factory and the rest is the same. Those transportation services like roadways or airways. So air or road transport including tramway services. Or else dock or plantation. Okay. All this is included. Wages here means all the remuneration. Let's discuss all of this one by one. Bonus won't be included in wages. Is employer contributions towards Provident Fund or gratuity payable included in this? No. Tell me who is having the responsibility for paying the wages? The employer. Occupier of the factory, manager of the factory. In the case of railways, the railway administrator. Any person who has been given the responsibility for the supervision, in short, control of establishment. Clear? Now the wages that you will fix. What should be the wage period that you will fix? Whether you make the payment monthly, weekly or daily, it should not exceed 1 month in any case. You cannot delay the payment of other party for more than a month. There are separate time limit for payment of wages. Somewhere it's 7th of next month. Or else somewhere it is mentioned 10th of the next month. 10th day of next month. So like this we need to do time limits for everyone. Then next comes the mode of payment. You can give it in currency notes. After that what? You can even give it in check or via IMPS, RTGS, NEFT, which means crediting the bank account. Okay, or else you can pay with the current coins as well. So these are all the mode and time given and we'll discuss about these. Now which deductions are allowed from wages? Any type of penalty, fine or income tax imposed, so these can be deducted. Or if you have given a loan to an employee or if you have provided housing accommodation or any advances, those recoveries, we can recover those. Now you see, you cannot simply deduct the fine. To impose the fine, you must obtain approval from the CG or the SG. A notice and the opportunity to be heard must also be given. Show cause means an employee should be asked why did they breach the agreement and also to tell them that we are imposing the fine on them. Maximum amount of fine payable is? Maximum amount is 3%. It's 3% of wages payable. So quickly I have made you revise the entire provision of the act. Okay? Is it clear? So the payment of wages talks about two things, time and mode of payment. And the prohibition of what? The unauthorized deduction. Eliminating malpractice. Look at this. You are looking at the Payment of Wages Act of 1936. Regulates the payment of wages of certain classes of employed persons. Its object is to eliminate all malpractices, time and mode of payment, securing timely payment without unauthorized deductions. It's applicable at employed person, employer. In both it will include their legal representative. Industrial establishment is tramway services, air transport service, dock, jetty, then mine, plantation, workshop, construction, wages by way of salary, everything. Bonus traveling allowance will not include. Gratuity PF will not include. Responsibility for wages payment for every employer, manager of factory. Okay. So fixation, the wage period you fix should not exceed 1 month. That's an important deadline for wages payments. if it's railway or factory, where less than 1000 people are. Wages shall be paid before expiry of 7th day. If the salary is for March, it should be given by 7 April. But if there are more than 1000 person or there are 100 person, then in that case, or they say that before the expiry date of that 10th day. Is that clear? So if you have up to 1000 workers or less than that, then salaries of workers must be paid by the 7th day of the following month. Okay? And otherwise, if it exceeds or are equal to the 1000 employees, and in that case, before the expiry of 10th day of next month, and dock, wharf, etc. on the completion of final tonnage before the expiry of the 7th day. Clear? Mode of payments: coins, notes or checks. Bank account. However, e.g. by notification in OG may specify. What deductions allowed? Fines, income tax, okay? Damages, housing, accommodation, these all deductions are allowed. Clear? LIC premium. These all deductions are allowed. In exam questions comes on deductions, so it's important what deductions are allowed. All these deductions are allowed from wages, and revise them. Okay, revise this. Understood, students? And what is the maximum penalty? It is 3% of the wages. And even if there is an employee under 15 years of age, so no fine will be applicable to them. It's clear? So students, you cannot apply any type of fine without giving the employee any notice, getting it. Opportunity of being heard. Okay. And whatever fine you impose on the employee, it should be recovered within 90 days of the date of imposition, because if it is lapsed, after that you can't even recover the fine. You will have to maintain proper records and registers for all of this. Clear? You've only been given that much in your mat, so you have to learn just that. Focus on what's given in mat. Let me know if this particular section is done. Tell me in the chat box, guys, is this done? If it is done, you will tell me, right? Tell me. This comes frequently. These are the deductions that are allowed. These are allowed. Clear? I already said no fine shall be imposed without prior approval of SG. Okay, you have to specify the notice as well and also provide opportunity to be heard. The maximum amount of fine is 3% of wages, and there is no fine applicable to the employees under the age of 15 years. No fine can be recovered after 90 days means recover within 90 days. After that, it is not recoverable. The employer has to maintain such records for a period of 3 years after the date of the last entry made there. Is it clear? And who are the administering authorities in this? Commissioner, that determines the workman's compensation. Regional Labor Commissioner, Assistant Labor Commissioner, any state government officer, Labor Commissioner, Presiding Officer, other officers. Who has experience as a judge in a civil court? Okay. Who can file an application if you have problem related to wages? Who can file the application? Anyone can. This can be done either by the employed person or by legal practitioner, or any officer who has been registered by you here, or an officer within the trade union. And what can he do? That person can file a written application to the inspector. Okay, I hope it's clear. Okay, when will it be done? Within 12 months from where? From date on which any unauthorized deduction is made from your wages, if you feel that, okay, there is injustice, the deduction made is unauthorized, you have to apply within 12 months of deduction. You can do it yourself or send your legal practitioner. You can also send it to the head of the trade union, the officer. Then the employer will be given an opportunity to be heard within 3 months. This case will have to be disposed of, and the relief that will be given can be refunded. Why was this deducted? Refunded. Why haven't you paid the wages? Payment of the delayed wages. Besides this, what else can we say? We can impose fine. But this fine penalty shall not exceed 10 times amount deducted. You have to pay amount up to 10 times the penalty. It cannot exceed. But maximum amount is given 3,000 rupees. But it should not be less than 1,500. In this way, the amount is given. Who can file application? Employed person. Legal practitioner within 12 months. Opportunity of being heard, disposal within 3 months. Relief given is any deductions made has to be refunded. Delayed wages has to be paid. Aggrieved employee also has to be paid compensation not exceeding 10 times amount deducted. If there is any deduction and if there is delayed wages, then it's 3,000. But not exceeding 1,500 later when it's delayed case. If amount paid before disposal. Let's say your case was pending and somehow the employer got wiser and he made the payment to you. Then also you will get compensation, but now it will be maximum 2,000. Okay, but it will not do anything. If the labor court will not pass any order, if that error was a bona fide error, if payments delayed due to emergency, or failure of the employed person to apply for or accept payment, clear? Suppose if application, the employed person, the application file he did was incorrect. He wasn't innocent, his deduction was valid. So there will also be a penalty on it, but look, the provision in entire industrial law is in favor of labor. They impose penalties on employers when they make mistakes, but when employees do mistakes, then maximum penalty they are talking about is a fine not exceeding 375. Okay, this completes your Tell Me students. What did we just complete? Payment of Wages Act 1936, which is talking about the time limit and mode of the wages payment. Now there is one more act left for us to cover, minimum wage, which is very easy. Okay, let's see. Is this clear? Revise object of the act. In the next 10 to 15 minutes, we will wrap up this session. Okay, so is everything clear up to this point? If you have any difficulties, then let me know. Clear? Okay, you know what's the good news? I have compiled all the labor law and industrial law questions that will appear in your exams. So along with notes, quickly revise those questions also. I gave question answers also. Take down these notes and go through those. Apart from this, you don't need to do anything else. You will pass the exam. Okay? Have you seen the notes? It also includes question answer. It includes question answers. And it's the past year's question answer. So please take a look at it properly. It's important. Okay? Minimum wages states. Every employer shall pay minimum wages fixed by appropriate government. Okay, now how does the appropriate government set the minimum wages? Either on the basis of time rate or piece rate. Piece rate is based on number of units. And what about the time rate? It can be done on hourly basis, daily basis, on a monthly basis, hourly basis and daily basis, if you are fixing wages on piece rate basis. So in that case, it can never be less than the time rate. Piece rate wages can't be less than time rate wages. Next, factors considered by appropriate government before fixing. What factors do they consider before fixing any wages? Skill required for job and the work hazards. Such other conditions as may be prescribed, and the fixed wages by the appropriate government has to be reviewed once every 5 years. And there are two methods for fixing the minimum wages, committee method and the notification method. In the committee method, the appropriate government establishes various committees. Each committee shall consist of equal number of representatives of employer and employee. And also there are independent experts, which shall not exceed 1/3 in number. Based on the committee's recommendation, the appropriate government fixes the minimum wages, which is published in the official gazette along with the date of its applicability, but if no date is mentioned, then it will come into force 3 months after its publication. The committee method is very easy, where appropriate government appoints committee with equal representatives of employers, employees and experts, whose number should be 1/3. Their number should not exceed 1/3. And they fix the minimum wages based on the committee, and then it is published by notification in OG along with its date of applicability. And if there's no date applicable, then it becomes applicable in 3 months. This is committee method. What about notification method? In notification method, the appropriate government publishes a notification and then inviting suggestions from anyone who is affected by this minimum wages rate. So whatever suggestions there are, they have to reply within 2 months. They only have 2 months to reply. Then based on suggestions, appropriate government publishes final notification in official gazette along with applicability date. And if in that case also no date of applicability is mentioned, so after 3 months from publication in the official gazette, it will be applicable. So remember these two methods for the exam. Remember the two methods for fixing minimum wages and who fixes them. EG does it by OG along with applicability date, and if date isn't applicable, whether it's committee method or notification method, it becomes applicable after 3 months. What's the objective? That we have to prevent the exploitation of laborers and fix the minimum wages for certain employment. Okay? Employment are those which are included in schedule or registered to scheduled employment. Scheduled employment means employment specified in schedule or any process. Okay, so there are two parts in schedule. One is 12 and 2 is employment in agriculture. Further additions have also been made. Fixation of minimum wage. Minimum wage to be fixed for entire state. Part 2 may not be fixed for entire state. Appropriate government may not fix minimum wage in respect of any scheduled employment in which less than 1,000 employees in whole state are engaged. Minimum wage rate is basic wage rate plus cost of living allowance. The advisory board is constituted by the AG, who will coordinate the work of committee and subcommittee and will advise the AG regarding how to fix the minimum wage rate. It will also consist of equal representatives from employer and employee and by independent experts not exceeding 1/3. Central advisory board is also here. Overtime payment has to be made. So if anyone works exceeding number of hours, which is constituted as normal, then overtime will be paid, but can't be claimed for those who are entitled to receive wages. So what else? Just read them. These are not that important. And these penalties as well. Read these two. There are two main things to remember. One of which is the two methods to fix the minimum wages. Remember it. And who fixes it? The AG. And what does it do after fixing it? They notify AG. By the notification in OG confirms that, and piece rate or the time rate, whatever is determined. What to do with it? Should be equal to time rate if you get less salary in piece rate. Can't be less than time rate wages, and time rate wages has to be considered. The wages can be fixed in time rate as per hourly, monthly or daily basis. And these two methods are very important, which are the committee method and the notification method. Okay, so with this we have totally completed your industrial law marathon, and I hope this was useful for you all. If you enjoyed today's marathon session, please guys, I request you with folded hands. Please share your valuable and precious comment in comment section. And do share the video link with your friends and family. Also, one more thing. If you want to download the notes, there's a Google form provided in the description. You can download the notes from there. Just fill out that Google form, and I know you're going to give your best shot. All the very best for your exam. Give your best. Make us proud with your good marks, and needless to say, we have many rank holders in the MEPL. So you will definitely get rank. Okay? Needless to say that, I mean, you already know that we are, we're always there for you. And we are going to meet one day before your exams. Okay? For taking the booster doses in session, all of the esteemed faculty members at MEPL will be there for you, holding hands and supporting you even the day before your exam. And please do not miss out those sessions, because those are very important and they will be really a game changer for you. Please do leave your comments in the comment section below and give me your feedback. Once this is over, you don't need to tell me now, but once the live stream is over, please give me your feedback regarding how you found today's session. And if you guys haven't yet subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe and please don't forget to press the bell icon. Okay guys? Lots of love for you and blessings for your exams. Give this your best shot and please let us know how your exam goes. And see you again in the final level. You will find all the subjects inside the MEPL and I will be taking your corporate law. And I will also be taking your SPMBV. Okay? I will be taking 2 papers. Thank you all. Bye. Take care. Lots of love. I hope all of you enjoyed this session. Bye. And I also prepared a master strategy. Also consider how to study for your exams. And Indian contract tax will be, I have already uploaded this marathon of both of them on the channel. You can also check out those sessions. They will be very beneficial for your exam. The MTP that I have taken is also important. Please take a look. Bye. Take care. Lots of love. See you one day before exam. Love you all. I wish you all the very, very best. I am sure you will do great in the exam. More power to you all. I am absolutely sure.